Scoreboard.
This game day update is sponsored by Mutual Federal, proudly serving Columbus with personal and business solutions at mutualfederal.com.
And I'm Cole Bartemus. We are counting down to 3:30 when your top-ranked Buckeyes will be kicking off against Washington from Seattle on 10 TV. That game is right in the middle of what should be an incredible slate of college football. But first, if you missed it last night, number 8 Florida State got trap-gamed against Virginia. The Cavaliers took down the Seminoles 46-38 in double OT, and we got 4 ranked versus ranked matchups today to follow. At noon, number 21 USC will be in Champaign playing the 23rd ranked Fighting Illini. At 3:30, we'll have the 114th Magnolia Bowl from Oxford, Mississippi, number 4 LSU versus number 13 Ole Miss. And we have a huge Big Ten matchup that awaits us this evening. At 7:30, number 6 Oregon and number 3 Penn State will be having a rematch of last year's Big Ten championship game, this time in Happy Valley. And going at the same time, we'll have number 17 Alabama taking on number 5 Georgia from Athens.
Do you smell it? The fine aroma of a soon-to-be Buckeye victory and Rothman searing his brat. Intoxicating. This is the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Tailgate Show.
Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And presented by Curtis & Associates. Remember, they don't get paid unless you get paid.
Live from the ESPN Bet Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino, here's Tim May, Dave Biddle, and Anthony Rothman.
Absolutely. Welcome in our 10 TV viewers, our normal loyal listeners. Anthony Rothman, Dave Biddle, Tim May planting his flag out in Seattle. We'll get to him in moments on the show. We'll have Paul Keels, Jim Lachey. As usual, we're out here at Hollywood Casino Columbus, where my man Bids loves cashing big tickets. Maybe he'll cash another one today. 8.5-point favorites, those Buckeyes. That has come down, Dave, over the week. Interestingly enough, you know, I'm hearing that Washington may be without their best corner as well, so I'm kind of surprised it's staying there.
Yeah, it's a tough place to play, and I do think Ohio State's going to cover, but I think we're in for a really good game. I won't be surprised if it's a situation where it's a one-score game, Anthony, in the fourth quarter, and the Buckeyes then make it a two-score game, but tough place to play, very good offense, but you're right. Banged up on defense. They were already a little leaky on defense. They have a good defensive coordinator in Ryan Walters, who was the head coach at Purdue the last 2 years, but before that was the defensive coordinator at Illinois and did a great job. So, but man, I think this Ohio State offense against this banged up Washington defense can definitely get some work done.
Yeah, listen, the Huskies are a pretty good home team, right? They've won all those games in a row, 22 in a row at home. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I've tracked every team they played at home. I mean, they're not all equal. But the fact that it took them, late in the third, early fourth to put away Wazoo last week, but they see Ohio State coming. Number 1 team in the country, reigning national champs. How many opportunities do you get if you're a Washington team to try to make a dent in the Big Ten standings here? Washington was not a team that came in this year, in my mind, a team that was going to challenge for a Big Ten title. However, they were going to try to get into that upper echelon. They were more than happy with Illinois getting all the hype and Indiana trying to follow up their playoff run. And here's little Washington way out northwest, part of the country, just kind of lying in the weeds, waiting for something to happen. And now they get this opportunity with Ohio State coming.
We had talked about it. Oh, I do. I love their offense too. Damon Williams Jr. is the real deal. Like he's just a sophomore. Started the bowl game last year and is a tremendous amount of momentum coming into this year. And he's a guy that can throw the ball. He can run the ball. He's been compared to an Antoine Randall-El, but a better passer. And then Ohio State's coaches have compared him to Kyler Murray. We're talking about Kyler Murray at Oklahoma, not necessarily Kyler Murray at Arizona. But, yeah, this is going to be tough. They have a really good running back in Coleman. He reminds me of a better version of Mayan Williams. And when Mayan was healthy, I thought he was a good back. Very similar, like 5'9", 228, but this guy is a little bit more elusive. Not that he's a scat back or anything, but he's a better version of Mayan Williams. And then they have a really good receiver on the outside in Denzel Boston. So,
big kid.
Definitely. No relation to David Boston, for those who don't know. I think I've had a lot of questions. He was related to David Boston. He is not related to former Ohio State Buckeye David Boston. But this is a very good Washington offense, and they have an offensive-minded head coach. Jed Fish, former Michigan offensive coordinator, a lot of years in the NFL, Maryland head coach briefly, then at Arizona. I thought he did a pretty good job last year at Washington. They were just 6-7, but they lost every starter off their offense.
Yeah.
First-year coach, I thought Jed Fish did a good job last year. I think we're in for a tough game today. I think the Buckeyes are going to get the job done, but this will not be easy by any means.
I think this is not. Ohio State fears no one. They have to respect all. I think Washington certainly has Ohio State's attention, and the fact that this is coming off a bye week, and Ryan Day's been so good after a bye week, but he is taking a young quarterback all the way across the country on the road. I had to chuckle a little bit this week on the coach's show when they were talking about, let's get all the guys stretched out. It's a plane ride. It's a long plane ride. And Ryan Day had a great line to Jim and Paul this week. He's like, listen, a lot of these guys they're gonna be just sacked out. They're gonna pass out, and they're gonna wake up, and before they know it, they'll be in Seattle. I'm certainly I think this team can handle the road trip, but let's not skip the fact that it is absolutely new, and it's new for a young quarterback. I don't think that the pressure of taking the show on the road is as much as they faced in the opener against Texas. That was a heavyweight battle right out of the gate, and Julian handled it perfectly. But I am going to give a little respect to the fact that this is different, that he is taking them on the road, that it is, and I'm wondering, and I heard Nick Saban say it earlier today on game day, that he thinks Ryan Day is going to attack this like he did the Texas game. Lean on the run game, routine play routinely. And then on the opposite side of the set, Herb Street was the exact opposite. He's going to take his chances because of the corner that's out for Washington. And plays will be there to be made if they let Sayin kind of sling it a little bit. The question is when. Is it situational? Because I could see Ohio State getting into some second and shorts, and then the play action will really work against this Washington team. But I want to get your feeling on that. The Ryan Day that we know now, who's not in the style points, doesn't need to impress. He's not trying to win anybody the Heisman. He's trying to repeat as a national champ. How aggressive is he out of the gate today?
It's going to be very interesting. Are we going to see the Ryan Day against Tennessee in the playoffs last year, against Oregon in the playoffs? We're just going to go at you.
Different quarterback.
We'll see what happens. You could say maybe a more accurate quarter. No, Will Howard was fantastic in the playoffs last year. Listen, there's the argument to be made. Take your shots early. Try to take this crowd out of the game because it truly is one of the loudest environments in college football. It's also obviously a very cool setting, too, right there on the lake, but it can get very loud. I think Husky Stadium has, the most fans between the goal lines, in the country. The end zones aren't that packed, but, yeah, man, I think there's something to be said for taking some shots early. Julian has been accurate all across the gridiron this year. Short throws, intermediate, deep. He's been perfect on deep balls, though, and especially now with Washington's secondary banged up with these wide receivers, and not just the wide receivers. We really haven't seen Max Clare break out. He was supposed to be, a big-time weapon on this offense. They've got Anthony. I think this is the best tight end room I can remember at Ohio State. We're talking about 1 through 5, the depth. So, and you also have Brandon Ennis, Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate, all these weapons. I think it would behoove Ohio State to try and take some shots early, try to take the crowd out of the game to a certain extent. The last thing Ohio State wants to be is in a second-half game or this is a tie game or very close and the Husky Stadium crowd's going crazy. If you can somehow get up by 2 scores in the first half, you won't completely take them out of the game, but you will, too, at a certain extent.
I think it's the most interesting part of the game today from a narrative standpoint is how aggressive will Coach Day and Brian Hartline be out of the gate because, as we mentioned earlier, this Washington offense is for real. Damon Williams, he is a superstar in the making. I've seen him play. Now, I haven't seen him play against this defense. That's what we're waiting to see. But I know one thing is true. If you let him get a crease or you don't set the edge, he can rip off some big gainers, and he throws the ball pretty well. I think he's a true dual threat. I wouldn't give him any more in his passing game than his running game, even though his wheels are pretty amazing. He's played a lot of games. I think Jetfish decided last year to set this up for this year. Let me play him in every game, which he did, and now he gets this season in this game to try to show that experience pays off. Grew up in Arizona, played against Dylan Raiola in high school. They say he's the future of college football. We'll see. A lot of people think he can become the perfect quarterback because he's very accurate in the pocket, and yet he's got the electric feet. 75% right now, throws bullets, 15 touchdowns to 1 pick this year. I think we got a real duel at quarterback today if Ryan Day wants to play it that way. We'll see. And then Jonah Coleman, the transfer from Arizona, the running back, 5'9", 230. He's a load. They call him a violent runner. I watched him against Wazoo. He is tough to bring down. But I think Ohio State's D-line against this O-line, they've got a freshman left guard. They got a sophomore at center. I saw Wazoo blast them with a 4-man rush early in that game and get to Damon Williams. But I think that will be the game within the game. But if Washington's going to take their swings today is my point. They're not going to go into that locker room and probably regret the fact they didn't take their shots.
It's going to be very interesting to see how much they're able to affect Damon Williams Jr. early, because the game at Oregon last year, they really didn't hit Dylan Gabriel at all. They never made him uncomfortable. He looked like he was just on the beach throwing the football with his buddies back in Hawaii. They have to make Damon Williams Jr. uncomfortable. And if Arvell Reese and the boys, hit him a few times, that'd be even better. He's 5'9", 197. He's tough. He's well put together, but he's 5'11", 197. And Ohio State has
6 feet with the helmet and cleats.
Probably, yes. Thanks, Fletch. But seriously, these Ohio State linebackers. Dare I say this is the best linebacking core we've seen at Ohio State in a long time, and I know that's saying a lot. When you talk about Sonny Styles, the way Arvell Reese is playing, and then you bring in Peyton Pierce, and then obviously the defensive lineman as well with Caden McDonald. And Anthony, talking to the guys this week, the defensive guys, it's easy to see what Matt Patricia and the coaches have been drilling in their head. Cage the pocket, cage the pocket. You ask them about Damon Williams Jr., all of them to a man were like, we have to cage the pocket, cage the pocket, cage the pocket. So, yeah, that's definitely, you don't want him to get out there because he's not just a good runner. He can throw the ball when he is outside of the pocket. He does a great job of keeping plays alive. You got to hit him. He's not been really hit this year that much, and he definitely hasn't played a defense like this. I've been calling Ohio State's defense the best in the country, but then again, Anthony, they have not been tested as much as I thought they would. We thought Texas was going to be one of the better offenses in the country. Dare I say they are probably the most overrated offense coming into the year. I think Texas's defense is really good. Arch Manning might be the most overrated player period coming into the year. So we really don't know. To me, this is definitely going to be the best offense that they face. I think Washington's offense is definitely better than Texas's.
Well, I'll tell you what I did not have on my bingo card earlier this year. If you would have asked us before the season started, who's going to score more points against Ohio State, the Bobcats or Texas, I don't think I would have had the Bobcats in that scenario. Ohio State wins both games, but Ryan Day wasn't about style points against OU. He really wasn't.
Well, I don't know if he could have been, really.
13-9 early third quarter.
It ended up being almost as stylistic as Ohio State could have hoped. Yeah, 3-0 at the end. Yeah. Give Ohio University credit. The defending MAC champs came in there and gave the defending national champs a battle, but I thought 37-9 was actually good considering how that game could have wound up, but yeah, I hear what Ryan Day's saying. College football is the only sport where style points matter. It doesn't always matter. If you go undefeated, it won't matter. But this is going to be a tough game today. Again, I think Ohio State's going to win. I'm even picking Ohio State to cover. But I absolutely expect this to be a tough game. Husky Stadium, tough place to play. This is a really good Washington team. And Anthony, as you know, as everybody knows who's listening, Ohio State always has a bullseye on their back, right? Now they're the defending national champs. They're ranked number 1 in the country. This is a watershed moment for Washington and
Great
Jedd Fisch.
Opportunity.
Yeah, so they're however big this would be for them normally, it's like that on steroids right now. So Ohio State will have to deal with that today.
All right, your kickoff forecast. Obviously, beautiful day here out in Seattle. They're expecting a picture-perfect football afternoon. 65 degrees at kick, topping out at 72 degrees, light winds right off the banks of Lake Washington. For those who are fortunate enough to make that trip, it should be awesome. All right, when we come back, and by the way, kickoff forecast is brought to you by Sunbelt Rentals. See why the Columbus builders building Columbus lean on green. When we come back, the man who will set the scene, the voice of the Buckeyes, Paul Keels, and we'll find out if the Huskies are indeed missing their best linebacker and their best corner today. This is the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Fan Tailgate Show. Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
1, 2, 3. Here at the Fan is always football o'clock. Proud to be your home of the Buckeyes, Browns, and all the NFL games you can handle. The Fan.
Call the folks at Buckeye, night or day.
The water's standing in the tub. My toilets will not flush. The smell's getting bad in here. I need help in a rush.
Clogged drain, no problem. It's 93 or free. I'll clear any drain or you don't pay with a 1-year guarantee.
It's 93 or free. Guaranteed.
Call 614-683-9911. Call all the folks at Buckeye, night or day.
Taking out the trash.
Hey, Columbus, this is Zach Bourne.
And Jacoby Bourne.
When it comes to waste service, you want a team that knows how to deliver under pressure, just like Saturdays in the fall.
At Bourne Brothers Waste Services, our team is built on toughness, teamwork, and consistent execution.
We're the most reliable and customer service-focused waste company in Central Ohio.
Whether it is recycling, trash, construction waste, roll-off containers, front loads, or compactors, we have it handled.
Call now or visit bournebrothers.com and let us tackle your waste needs.
Taking out the trash.
Hey Columbus, it's Lorenzo Stiles Jr., Ohio State student athlete. It's football season, and just like on the field, success starts with the right game plan and the right team. That's why I'm proud to team up with Monogram Homes. They're the true custom home builder, bringing precision, creativity, and attention to every detail, just like we do on Saturdays. If you're ready to build, don't settle for standard. Go custom. Go Monogram. Visit monogramhomes.net to start building today. Monogram Homes, a builder you can trust.
Nobody has more all-wheel drive or electrified hybrid choices than Toyota. Now through September 30th, get 2.99 APR financing on a rugged new 25 Tacoma. Excludes TRD Pro and Trailhunter. Or lease a well-equipped Tacoma SR5 for $269 a month for 36 months with $39.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details. Or go to Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Here's a stat that hurts. The average adult waits up to 2 years before getting help for joint or back pain. 2 years of sitting out. 2 years of missing the game. At Ortho Neuro, you don't have to wait. Our orthopedic and spine experts treat every joint issue, often without surgery, and we've got next-day appointments ready. Don't sit on the sidelines another day. Schedule your consult now at orthoneuro.com. Ortho Neuro, for every motion in life.
Our clients deserve for us to care, and they deserve to feel serviced. They have questions, and they deserve answers. We're counselors first because I'm not selling them anything. I'm trying to teach clients how to protect themselves. At Curtis & Associates, we're personal injury attorneys.Ve helped and continue to help hundreds and hundreds of clients every year. That's important to us. If you've been injured in an accident and it's not your fault, call now. 614-GOT-HURT. That's 614-GOT-HURT. Curtis & Associates. Attorneys who care.
Wake up and laugh with the Bob and Tom Show on the Fan 2.
Weekday mornings from 6 to 10.
It says here they've won 5 Marconi Awards. I can't even spell Marconi. The Fan 2, Columbus's home of the Bob and Tom Show.
Hey, you mind keeping it down up there, please?
KeyBank will meet you in that I need new neighbors moment.
Rick, it's your mortgage loan officer, Beth. I was in the neighborhood and wanted to let you know your home loan application's been approved.
Beth, you're always there for me, and not a moment too soon.
Are your neighbors bowling with grand pianos again?
And apparently raising livestock?
Ugh.
For every financial need, we'll meet you in the moment. KeyBank opens doors. Equal housing lender. NMLS number 399797.
Game day glory starts here, Columbus. The 2025 Polestar 3 is built to win, delivering Scandinavian luxury, cutting-edge design, and up to 350 miles of range. Right now, lease yours for $399 a month for 27 months with $55.99 due at signing, and score $15,000, double the EV tax credit. Visit Polestar Columbus on the Buyers Imports campus by the airport, the only place in Ohio where you can see, feel, and drive the difference. Monthly lease payment of $599 per month for 27 months. Offer expires September 30th, 2025. See dealer for details or visit polestaroffers.com.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Here's a look at your 10 weather impact forecast as we head through the weekend as we're tracking sunshine and warm temperatures here for today and tomorrow. We'll see mostly sunny skies here today with highs into the lower 80s. And then for tonight, mostly clear, cooling down to the upper 50s overnight. And then on your Sunday, more sunshine and even warmer temperatures as we reach the mid-80s here for your Sunday afternoon with a high of around 85 degrees. And then we'll see the warm weather stick around into Monday and Tuesday with highs into the lower 80s. And that's a look at your 10 weather impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Aaron White here on 97.1 The Fan.
Common man, a radio veteran, has a large hemorrhoid. Timmy Hall, a good clean boy, moonlights as man's hemorrhoid. Common man and Timmy.
Weekdays at 3.
The Fan. The sausages are sizzling. This is the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Tailgate Show. Proud to be the flagship home of the Buckeyes. The Fan. It's time for the Big Daddy Report with the voice of the Buckeyes, Paul Keels.
Sponsored by the Waterworks and Header Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Now together to serve you better. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
All right, back at it. Tailgate Show live from Hollywood Casino Columbus. Anthony Rothman, Dave Biddle, and we send it way out to Seattle to the man who hopefully will have a very good seat in this house. And it is a very cool stadium. He is the voice of the Buckeyes, Paul Keels. Big Daddy, how's the trip?
Any 7-Eleven coming out there? Rolling the dice?
Not yet, man. Not yet. But we're warming up in the bullpen for sure, buddy.
The trip has been long. But,
has it?
Good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Flight was okay. Everything uneventful, I hope?
Uneventful. Delayed, but went okay.
Okay. All right. Before we attack the Buckeyes, I do want to ask you about if you've heard anything about Washington missing their best corner and perhaps their best linebacker.
Yes, it is our understanding that Takario Davis, who missed their game last week against Washington State, will not play today. So Dylan Robinson, a true freshman, will be starting at one corner spot. And then Tariq Alaukta, their linebacker, who has been one of their top players early on in the season. He was injured late last week. He is not expected to play. So in his place, they're going to have a guy making his debut at Washington, Jacob Manu, a senior who played 3 years at Arizona before transferring here. So a couple of significant injuries for Washington on defense.
Paul, have you ever been to that stadium?
This is the third time been here. Here in 2007 when Ohio State came out here. And if you remember, that's when Washington was in a little bit of a down period, and Tyrone Willingham was the coach. And James Laurinaitis not only had 2 interceptions, he reminded us he also had a sack in the game. Brian Hartline had a TD catch, and Brandon Sane had a big run in an Ohio State win. It was out here for a Big Ten game way back in the mid-1980s. So have been here before, but it is, while it's the same, there are some noticeable differences.
Does it compare equally with what people are saying in your memory and your history on this home field advantage, the acoustics of the stadium, and how much that atmosphere can provide to the home team?
Well, it will. I mean, the noise, we can't tell right now, even though the band is doing a pretty good job of hooping up a lot of noise here. You'd wonder if they've ever practiced before, as much as they're practicing out here, right, Skip? I tell you, Anthony, what it is the most scenic stadium that you will see because the open end looks out to Lake Washington. You have Rainier, Olympia, and Cascade, the mountain ranges all surrounding it. People will sailgate to come up here. So it certainly is a big home advantage for the Huskies, but it is the most scenic stadium of any place that I've ever seen in a lot of years of being around college football games.
Yeah, one of my buddies I went to high school with, Paul, was like bragging last night on a text group saying, "I'm here sailgating." I'm like, I've never heard that term before, but that sounds like fun. All right. This won't be fun for Ohio State's defense going up against DeMond Williams Jr. I had a former Ohio State player tell me, hey, he reminds me of Antoine Randall when he was at Indiana, but a better passer. Then we had, obviously, Matt Patricia and Ryan Day comparing him to Kyler Murray. Which one does he remind you more of, Paul?
Probably, Dave, more of Kyler Murray, but I would say he's probably a better passer than Kyler Murray, too, at least what was able to see from watching the Washington State game a couple of times this week leading up to this. He's a guy that seems to, Dave, really, not only is he quick, he gets quick in a hurry. When he decides to tuck in and run, he seems to explode upfield. He's got the ability to make people miss, but he throws the ball very, very well. He's got a good target to throw it to, a good couple of targets in Denzel Boston and Desmond Roebuck. So he is a guy that certainly is an exciting player, and also the fact that he's playing behind a better offensive line this year than he did last year. So that kind of adds to the threat that he brings.
Yeah, Washington's defense is banged up, as you mentioned, but they do have a really good first-year defensive coordinator in Ryan Walters. We know him well for his time at Illinois and then Purdue. Illinois, he was a really good defensive coordinator, as you know, Paul. What do you expect from this Washington defense against this Ohio State offense?
Kind of expect really to see if they show something they haven't shown all year. Talking to some of the Washington radio people, they've been very conservative with what they've done in the first 3 games and really haven't needed to have to do a whole lot defensively, considering the way they manhandled their opponents. When you think about Colorado State and you think about Cal Davis. And now they were in a tight game last week with Washington State, but what their defense did to really turn that game around was turnovers. Their one starting safety, Alex McLaughlin, a couple of interceptions, one of them he took back for a touchdown. They also benefited from recovering an onside kick, too, that gave them a short field. But this defense is going to face a tougher test today than what they've seen from anybody all year.
He is the voice of the Buckeyes, Paul Keels, live from Seattle, Buckeyes and Huskies this afternoon. All right, so the big narrative, Paul, this week has been taking the young quarterback on the road for his first road trip. You've talked to the coach this week a couple different times. Do you feel he's going to lean on the running game early to help his young quarterback, or do you feel like he could be hiding something here and let Julian sling it a little bit early? What is your feel on aggressiveness versus situational stuff?
Well, Anthony, I think that certainly there's going to be the emphasis of the run, and I think we're all curious to see how the running game is going to play out. Will it be more Bo Jackson? Although what Ryan Day has talked about, it's going to be, the tri-committee of James Peoples and C.J. Donaldson as well. But, Julian said he's played on the road before. Now, it was in mop-up duty at Michigan State last year. There really wasn't much of a threat by the time he got into the football game. So playing on the road is not entirely new. Playing in this type of environment on the road will be brand new for him. But you got to hope and you got to think that the first 3 games, and with the comfort that he's shown, will be something that will bode well for him today. Probably the biggest question is, can he avoid the turnover bug? Some ill-advised throws that led to some of the interceptions. Can he avoid that? But Anthony, it's a fair question. Could they lean on the running game, not only for that, but also to try and keep Washington's offense off the field and manipulate the clock some?
Last year at Oregon, Paul, Ohio State had 8 penalties for 70 yards. Not all of them were pre-snap penalties, but some were. I know Ryan Day talked a lot about that this week. Can't have any false starts. They've really drilled that into the head of the offensive lineman. Easier said than done in this environment, but cutting down on penalties will definitely be huge.
Well, David, remember, too, in that game, there were some of the pass interference penalties that came at bad times in that game at Oregon. So, you hope that guys have learned from that. We've seen a good trend from Davison Igbinosun, the cornerback who was penalty-prone last year. He's absorbed a few here, but not at the pace that he did last year. So hopefully they can do that. The offensive line has played really, really well. It'll be interesting to see how they handle their first road test in a place that can be very, very loud. But, they had a lot of noise going on at practice out there this week. You'd hear whoever it is that handles their PA mic say, okay, noise, and then you'd hear this crazy-ass noise that they'd start playing. So hopefully that has primed them as much as possible to get ready for this.
So, Paul, we've talked about their quarterback a lot, Damon Williams, and how electric he can be. Matt Patricia has been a wizard at confusing quarterbacks so far this year, at least trying to show pre-snap versus post-snap. How careful does he have to be today, and how much will he be emphasizing containment overall?
Very careful, Anthony, but think about this. In the first 3 games, there was always the threat that Arch Manning could run. He didn't really do much to hurt Ohio State that way. You certainly had with TSAT from Grambling State, a guy that was a running threat, but it's kind of easy to think after the fact Grambling probably wasn't going to expose TSAT as much as they will later on in the season. And then Parker Navarro, they had to prepare for that, even though he didn't show the running threat that he has at times, and he missed some time because of injury in that game. So it's something they've kind of had to prepare for. But this is the most dynamic runner. That's where guys like Sonny Styles, who played safety, now is linebacker, where his experience hopefully helps, and where Caleb Downs, who can show so many different looks with where he'll play. We saw him, a couple of games ago coming up there at the line of scrimmage and then dropping back. So you got to think that Matt Patricia is noodling on all kind of different looks, different twists and things to create some confusion. Probably and this is just a layperson thinking about it, this might not be a game where you're going to see a lot of sack numbers unless the interior linemen are able to break loose, because they've got to be worried about Williams being able to get out in an alley and take off running.
Coming off the off week, in theory, that should help Ohio State, right? But we've seen it time and time again. Now, Ryan Day's record is great coming off weeks, but there's been some tricky games. Like last year, they had the close loss to Oregon off week, played a mediocre Nebraska team at home, and they had a real nail-biter, 21-17 Ohio State win. So I've had a lot of people say this is going to be like a benefit for the Buckeyes. I don't know if it will or not, Paul. Where do you come down on that?
Dave, you never know about bye weeks, and especially when they're early like this. Now, of course, there's a second one coming later in the year. The real test is just how do they end up playing? And that Nebraska game was certainly a good example. It's been brought up a lot of a team being clunky. But if you remember, too, Ryan Day talked about, because Nebraska just got boat raced the week before by Indiana, and he said that's not going to be the same Nebraska team that'll show up in Columbus. And they weren't, and they played better. This is one of those that's going to be interesting because it was an early bye week. Guys were able to get a little bit of rest, the guys that have logged a lot of snaps, and some younger players were able to get more practice reps. So I don't know. It's one of those things you never really know for sure, Dave, until how the game afterwards plays out. This kind of reminds you of the basketball coaches talk about when the team goes home for Christmas. Usually the worst practice of the year is that first practice after they come back from Christmas. It didn't sound like they had that happen this week.
All right, good. Yeah, no sluggish coming out of the bye week. All right, I know you won't get distracted by the painting that is that scene out there in Seattle, but it's going to look beautiful on TV. We will be looking forward to the call. Thank you, Paul.
I'm sorry, what'd you say? I was distracted looking at the lake. No, you got it.
Sailboat, Christopher Cross. Yeah.
Yeah, right. All right, guys, have a good day.
Yeah, we'll talk to you soon. Paul Keels segment sponsored by the Waterworks Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, now together to serve you better. When we come back, who will shine in Seattle? He's so money. Coming back on the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Fan Tailgate Show right here on The Fan.
We know everything about you. We know you love the Buckeyes. We know you love the Jackets. We know you're wearing a red shirt. I just freaked the hell out of someone. The Fan.
If you're itching for a new vehicle this fall, you have to go see my friends at Germain Honda of Dublin. Hey, it's Anthony. I drive an awesome Ridgeline, and you can drive home the rugged 25 Ridgeline Sport with 0% APR or lease for as low as $299 a month. Or go for the looks and reliability of a 2025 Honda Accord LX, just 3.99% APR or lease it from only $199 a month. Germain Honda of Dublin on Sawmill Road, just south of 270. And GermainHondaofDublin.com.
Football season is here, and so is tailgating season. Are you ready? If not, let Columbus Car Audio and Accessories help you get the latest and best accessories for your ride. Upgrade your sound system so everyone around can hear what team you're rooting for. Add mobile video and never miss a game on the road. Add style and privacy with window tint and avoid scraping ice this winter by adding a remote starter. Choose Columbus Car Audio and Accessories when it comes to customizing your ride. Morse Road near Easton, Main Street in Reynoldsburg, or ColumbusCarAudio.com.
Taking out the trash. Hey, Columbus, this is Zach Bourne.
And Jacoby Bourne.
When it comes to waste service, you want a team that knows how to deliver under pressure, just like Saturdays in the fall.
At Bourne Brothers Waste Services, our team is built on toughness, teamwork, and consistent execution.
We're the most reliable and customer service-focused waste company in Central Ohio.
Whether it is recycling, trash, construction waste, roll-off containers, front loads, or compactors, we have it handled.
Call now or visit BourneBrothers.com and let us tackle your waste needs.
Taking out the trash.
What's better than cheering the Buckeyes on to victory? Wearing our exclusive collection of OSU jewelry as you watch. Hi, this is Alex Johnson from the Diamond Cellar. We're an officially licensed jeweler of The Ohio State University, and we've created beautiful Buckeye jewelry that will last a lifetime. From Blocko earrings to Diamond Script Ohio necklaces, we've got luxury Buckeye gifts starting at $99. No matter where you're watching, show your Buckeye love at the Diamond Cellar, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Your new Columbus home for the Jim Rome Show is The Fan 2.
Catch the live experience weekdays from 3 to 6.
Just one requirement. Have a take and don't suck. The Fan 2, Columbus's home of the Jim Rome Show.
Hey, Columbus. It's Lorenzo Styles Jr., Ohio State student athlete. Football runs deep in my family. My dad played here, and my brother and I are proud to carry on that tradition. At Monogram Homes, family matters too. They treat every homeowner like one of their own, building with care, precision, and pride. Monogram doesn't just build houses, they build homes, crafted just for you. So whether you're starting your first home or designing your dream space, Monogram Homes has got your back every step of the way. Visit monogramhomes.net to start building today. Monogram Homes, a builder you can trust.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. And if you're gearing up for the big game, don't forget the MVP of desserts, Sanders Chocolate Fudge Bumpy Cake. This legendary treat just made its way to Ohio. Finally! We're talking rich devil's food cake, buttery cream bumps, and a fudge icing that is just unfair. They'd throw a flag on it if it was actually on the field. Bring one to your next tailgate, watch party, or even a team celebration, and you'll be the real hero. Available now at Kroger and Meijer, Sanders Bumpy Cake. It's game day greatness.
When it comes to trucks, Toyota gives you the power of choice. Now through September 30th, get 1.75 APR financing or $3,000 customer cash on a powerful new 25 Tundra. Excludes TRD Pro. Or you can lease a 25 Tundra SR Crewmax for $409 a month for 36 months with $39.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
The Waterworks techs have heard it all. Screeching furnaces, dripping pipes, strangled garbage disposals, overflowing toilets. Did a spooky surprise catch you off guard? Who are you going to call?
No, not them. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222. We provide better care, better value, better results, and we'll take on any drain or heating and cooling nightmare to come your way. Happy Hallow Waterworks.
This is the Fans Game Day Scoreboard.
This game day update is sponsored by Mutual Federal, proudly serving Columbus with personal and business solutions at mutualfederal.com.
And I'm Cole Bartimas. We are counting down to 3:30 when your first-ranked Buckeyes are going to be in Seattle taking on Washington. Got to update you on what happened last night. We had 2 ranked teams go on the road, and we had 2 ranked teams lose. Number 8, Florida State, lost a double overtime thriller in Charlottesville. Virginia 46, Florida State 38, and TCU suffered a loss to Arizona State 27-24. The noon slate kicking off. We got a ranked matchup in Champaign. Number 23 Illinois up 7-0, capitalizing off of a USC fumble. And in Fayetteville, Arkansas drove down the field, kicked the field goal in the opening drive. Notre Dame just responded with the score. Jeremiah Love 1-yard touchdown. Notre Dame up 7-3. And number 16 Georgia Tech is up 3-0 in Winston-Salem, taking on Wake Forest.
You're listening to the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Tailgate Show, getting you ready for the Buckeye game. Your home for Ohio State athletics. The Fan. He's so money.
Sponsored by Kemba Financial Credit Union.
Outstanding to have you along for the ride. Ohio State Tailgate Show. Anthony Rothman, Dave Biddle. We'll hit up our guy Tim May, top of the hour. Jim Lachey coming up shortly. He's so money, sponsored by Kemba Financial Credit Union, as we're out here at Hollywood Casino Columbus. So we've talked about their offense, Washington's offense, a lot. And it makes me believe that Arvell Reese, who's been just an absolute, game wrecker for a while so far, and we thought coming in, I think he's probably the one guy I talked about most this summer, and he's really paying off. But I do think that he is going to be an absolute key in making sure Damon Williams doesn't get loose today.
Got to cage the pocket, as they said. We talked to the defensive guys. All of them use that phrase.
Is he the cage keeper, though? That's the question.
Well, him and Sonny, and especially, and Caden Curry talked about it. But, yeah, Arvell Reese is just having a tremendous year, and he's just a first-year starter. Played a decent amount on the national championship team last year. He looks fantastic, man. Like, if he goes pro, I think he might be like a late first-round pick at this point. Didn't see that coming in. And I thought he was going to have a big year. But being a first-year starter, I thought there might be like ups and downs. He looks phenomenal. I think he's their best pass rusher. He's great as the spy. He does a little bit of everything. And then Sonny Styles, is pretty good himself. And they're like body doubles. They're both like 6'4", 6'5", 245 right around there. They run like the wind. They're basically defensive ends playing linebacker, and sometimes they're just defensive ends, because we've seen Matt Patricia at times, partially due to the lack of quality depth at D tackle. What he will do sometimes on 3rd and long is not even have a D tackle on the field. He'll have like 3 defensive ends basically playing defensive tackle, then have Sonny and Arvell as the defensive ends, and then bring in an extra DB, Devin Sanchez, true freshman. I love what Patricia's doing with this defense, and Anthony, you're absolutely right. Arvell Reese is an absolute werewolf. He is playing at an All-American level. He needs to keep it going, because they really haven't played a great offense yet. That will change today. Washington scored on, 20 straight drives, haven't lost a game at home in 5 years. This will be a test, but Arvell Reese has been everything and more than I expected coming in, and I expected big things out of him.
Absolutely. And listen, Washington has kind of a two-headed monster at tailback as well. It's Muhammad's back there as well. And the other thing on the flip side is, and we talked to Paul Keels about this in the last segment, on where Ryan Day and Brian Hartline are going to go with this running game. And the most quiet 100-plus yards in the country each week are coming from Bo Jackson. I mean, if he gets to 100 yards today, which I think he could, certainly, against this defense, he's the first Ohio State true freshman to have 3 straight 100-yard rushing games since Maurice Clarett did it 23 years ago. Yeah, I know it's quiet right now, but when you think about where they are and where they're going with this offense, he could be a very big part of it. Now, I know it's a committee right now, and he's a young guy. You don't need to throw the world at him, but, man, he is pushing these guys, and he's ready to break out, and maybe this is the week he does it. Again.
And you read between the lines what Ryan Day said this week. He was asked, about Bo Jackson. He's like, yeah, he definitely flashed last week. The talent is there, and we're going to build on that moving forward. He wasn't going to come into the press conference, Anthony, and make like grand proclamations like, yeah, Bo Jackson is our RB1. But that spoke volumes to me, reading between the lines. And that tells me at some point he will be RB1 if he stays healthy. Will it be today? I bet you one of the veterans, can we consider James Peoples as a sophomore a veteran? Either CJ or James Peoples, I think, will try it out there to start the game. But Bo Jackson's going to have a huge part in this game. Another thing that really spoke volumes was how early he was in there against Ohio University last week, and then he capitalized on it. He was in there. It wasn't like the Grambling game where, he led the team in rushing. That was all in the second half. The game was no longer on the line. Ohio University was a tie game. He's in there the third series of the game. He outplayed the other two backs, and he's Anthony, he's a big play waiting to happen, but he's not like 190 pounds big play waiting to happen. He's 217 pounds, so he's a big play waiting to happen, and he can get you the tough yards. So I'm very impressed with Bo Jackson. I have no doubt that he is going to, if he stays healthy, be the starting running back at some point, but there's no rush. They need all three of these guys. They're going to need all three of these guys, and I like the way they're handling it, but I do expect Bo Jackson to lead this team in rushing today.
Yeah, I think that's a very accurate statement. I don't think that's disrespecting the other guys. I think that Ryan Day has said it correctly, that it's situational. He's going to need all three guys, and why put 30 carries on a young back this early? And if anything's been proven over the last year to this year is, it's a long season, and you're going to need these three guys. And as much as you want to see this kid hit home runs, which he can, and he may today, again, he's just part of the bigger beast right now. It's not like the other two guys are so much lesser, and there's a thought in Buckeye Nation like he's playing the wrong guy. It's not really that. I just think what they're clamoring for is start playing one of the right guys a lot more. It's a different feeling right now. So I'm looking forward to seeing if he can have that streak continue going 100 yards plus against another team, and this one on the road. So it's great if you can silence the crowd, and it's cool to have this Washington defense have to be, thinking about a three-headed monster. And mostly, they're trying to, if you're Washington and you're the defense on Washington, you're almost thinking, hey, offense, move the chains, keep us off the field as long as possible, and keep us as fresh as possible all game. Give us a fighting chance kind of thing. And so, if you believe that Ohio State is better on both sides of the line, then they should have a pretty good day today.
Yeah, and I really like the Ohio State offensive line against this Washington defensive line. We'll, of course, ask Jim Lachey about this. This is right in his wheelhouse in the next segment. But this Ohio State offensive line is experienced. They're really good. I didn't expect Phillip Daniels to win the right tackle job, but he did. And that just added to the depth. Because now what are we seeing? Tegra and Ethan are fighting it out. Ethan Onionwa and Tegra Shabola are fighting it out to be that starting right guard. And it seems like there's some momentum for Onionwa maybe pulling ahead. It was interesting the way Ryan Day answered the question this week. He said, yeah, Tegra played better last week, but he's got to play better. Ethan continues to get more and more snaps. Here's the thing, man. You got like a guy that started for the national champions last year in Tegra Shabola, a guy in Ethan Onionwa who's considered one of the best gets in the transfer portal. Those guys are rotating at right guard because they love the rest of their offensive line with Sarabot at left tackle, and then Luke Montgomery at left guard, and Carson Hinsman at center, and then Phillip Daniels at right tackle. And a lot of those guys, we're not even playing, like two of them, not a lot, two of them, 40% of them, we're not even playing last year, and then all of a sudden we're starters for the national champions in Carson Hinsman and Luke Montgomery because of the injuries to the two guys that got hurt with Josh Simmons and McLaughlin. So they've got a lot of experience. They've got depth. Even guys we haven't talked about like Ian Moore, Padilla, and Van Sickle. Probably the deepest offensive line they've had since 2013, Anthony.
Yeah, they're strong, and they're only going to get stronger, and hopefully today they will continue that run. Julian's saying first big road test, he's got to be money today in a lot of ways. It's the same scenario. Don't put the cape on. Make your accurate throws. Take your shots. You could get away with that pick against OU. You may not get away with a couple of those today with an offense that maybe can score 3 touchdowns on you today. So I think that'll be a big part of it. But the one thing that I'm off of now is worrying about whether he would somehow be phased horribly. Now, right. I'm not taking him off the hook completely. This is his first roadie, and it's a tough place to play. This isn't, just a nothing, a walkover game. But I'm done worrying about how much he's really truly going to get phased. Now, how well he plays, according to what Washington throws at him, that's different than me saying that somehow the lights would be too bright or that the crowd would get to him. I'm not saying he's averse from making a mistake, but I'm now at the point where I'm leaning a little more towards it's what the defense presents him, not what he does to himself.
Yeah, normally you'd be worried about a redshirt freshman on the road for the first time getting rattled. He's the epitome of California cool. I was so impressed in the Texas game with how poised he was. Number 1 versus number 2 game, or number 1 versus number 3, depending on the poll. He never looked rattled. We know he was known for his accuracy. The human jugs machine is what his high school coach nicknamed him, and his quarterback coach. and his accuracy was on point against Texas. He was 13 of 20. That included 4 drops, or he would have been 17 of 20. But Anthony, was his poise that impressed me the most. So he did look rattled a couple times, a little bit against Ohio University, so it's not out of the realm of possibility. But
yeah, and he didn't make there was a mistake in that game, certainly.
Absolutely, but I'm very impressed with his poise, and the Buckeyes have and he's just going to get better and better and better. They haven't taken the chains off of him yet. It was a very, very, and rightfully so, Texas's offense couldn't do anything in that game. It was very conservative. I think we might see Ryan Day unleash him a little bit more today.
He may have to. We may be in for a track meet.
Yeah.
The guy to ask will be Jim Lachey, the former All-American. He'll join us next from Seattle. This is the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Fan Tailgate Show. Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places right here on the Fan.
We test marketed naming the show A Guy and His Butlers.
Oh, that is very touching.
But we thought Bishop and Friends had a better ring to it.
Weekday mornings at 9.
The Fan.
Dormar, you're kind of hero.
Well, it's halftime, and Dormar is dominating the field as your home's MVP.
Hey, Coach, heating and cooling. We know that's a strong offense, but can the team cover the whole field?
You bet. Dormar's roster is stacked. Plumbing, electrical, duct cleaning.
Anything else, Coach?
Sure. Appliance repair, radon testing, water purification, plus all-star heating and cooling.
Same-day service, free estimates, and friendly pros. Dormar never leaves you on the sidelines.
Dormar, you're kind of hero.
And another win for Dormar.
When you need a mini excavator or a not-so-mini excavator, lean on green. Sunbelt Rentals. With the largest rental fleet and hardest-working equipment experts in Columbus, we can help you take a big step toward a mini excavator in one of 17 different sizes, from 2,000 to 18,000-pound machines, with 6 to 24 feet of reach and 5 to 15 feet digging depth. Though in the most rental locations, and it's no wonder the Columbus builders who are building Columbus lean on green. Sunbelt Rentals. Learn more at sunbeltrentals.com.
When it comes to protecting your business, whether it's your staff, property, or assets, don't make a crucial mistake by contracting companies that provide subpar and unprofessional service. What you need is a security partner known for their unwavering professionalism and unnatural liability. You need Event Risk. Event Risk is a U.S.-based, veteran-owned company that not only specializes in on-site guarding, but also offers armed security associates and executive protection agents. Event Risk, elite protection for your peace of mind.
Hello, my name is Eric Rose, CEO and founder of Event Risk Security Services. We are a U.S.-based, veteran-owned company providing protection services and consulting to Fortune 500 corporations, movie studios, celebrities, and high-net-worth individuals. If you're tired of fluff margins with low compensation for poor quality security officers and the endless revolving door of vendor staffing, then give us a try. For virtually the same cost, we can then address what keeps you up at night.
Visit EventRiskInc.com. Tailgates are better when your ride's rocking. Columbus Car Audio and Accessories upgrades your sound, tints your ride, and adds the extras to make your ride the ultimate game day machine.
Hey, Columbus, this is Zach Bourne.
And Jacoby Bourne.
When it comes to waste service, you want a team that knows how to deliver under pressure, just like Saturdays in the fall.
At Bourne Brothers Waste Services, our team is built on toughness, teamwork, and consistent execution.
We're the most reliable and customer service-focused waste company in Central Ohio.
Whether it is recycling, trash, construction waste, roll-off containers, front loads, or compactors, we have it handled.
Call now or visit bournebrothers.com and let us tackle your waste needs.
Taking out the trash.
The Fan has a new tailgate destination. Join us before every home game at the O Patio and Pub on Lane.
Sponsored by your Central Ohio Toyota dealers. Jameson Whiskey didn't go to college. And Coors Light.
See you Saturday, friends.
Hey, Columbus. It's Lorenzo Styles Jr., Ohio State student athlete. It's football season, and just like on the field, success starts with the right game plan and the right team. That's why I'm proud to team up with Monogram Homes. They're the true custom home builder, bringing precision, creativity, and attention to every detail, just like we do on Saturdays. If you're ready to build, don't settle for standard. Go custom. Go Monogram. Visit monogramhomes.net to start building today. Monogram Homes, a builder you can trust.
Relationship benefits at KeyBank reward you for things you were going to do anyway, like using your KeyBank checking account 5 times each month. You could unlock higher interest rates, more cash back, and loan discounts. Now, imagine getting rewarded for other things you were going to do anyway, like high-fiving.
Yes.
Calling your mom.
Hello.
Or petting cute dogs. If only. Learn how simple it is to get benefits when opening a checking account at key.com/relationship. KeyBank opens doors. All credit products subject to credit approval. KeyBank, member FDIC.
Score big with Columbus Car Audio and Accessories. Sound, style, and upgrades for every ride. Visit us today and kick off this season the right way. Columbus Car Audio and Accessories. Drive it, show it, rock it.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. The only way to get ready for the game. 1, 2, 3. This is the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Tailgate Show. Your home of the Buckeyes. The Fan. It's time to check in with Buckeye color analyst and president of the Large Hand Society, Jim Lachey.
Sponsored by Ohio State Army, ROTC. Leadership starts here. Visit arotc.osu.edu.
All right, here we go. We're live from Hollywood Casino Columbus. Buckeye Nation will be rolling in to watch the game here. The man with the bird's eye view will be Jim Lachey from Seattle. Jimmy, how you feeling?
Feeling great. It was been a great couple days here in Seattle so far, and looking forward to watching this game here in a few hours.
What jumps out to you the most? I think the challenge that we've talked about all week, it seems like Ohio State defense against the Washington offense. Is that where you're leaning as kind of the headliner of the game?
Well, when you look at it, you just look at the stats. Ohio State is number one as far as defense giving up points at, 5.3 yards or 5.3 points per game. And when you look at Washington, they're number one or number two in scoring at 55.6. So, when you kind of put those together, those are the two teams that when they face off, or two parts of the team when they face off, or Washington's offense versus the Buckeyes defense, that you got to figure you got to win that. And, for Ohio State's defense, it's going to be a challenge. We talked about it all week with Denzel Boston having 16 receptions. Our next closest guy is a running back, Jonah Coleman, who's got 9 receptions and 8 receptions and a TD. That's the go-to guys. And then on the ground, you look at Jonah Coleman and Damon Williams. Those are the two guys that have the majority of the carries, the majority of the ground game. So when you're looking at this offense, there's really 3 guys that you got to contain: the quarterback, the running back, and the wide receiver. And for our defense and Coach Matt Patricia, that'll be the challenge, making sure that he's got the right amount of guys in the box to handle the quarterback, popping out there and making plays with his feet. And then also having the ability to cover up, the Denzel Boston receiver. Make sure you got your best guy or enough guys around him to make sure that he cannot be a factor and make big plays in the passing game. Defensive line's going to have to be really disciplined in the rush lanes to keep, Williams in that pocket, because we've seen him have the ability in the first 3 weeks to bust out of that pocket and make big plays with his feet, and especially on third down, where they're converting 75% of their third down conversions right now. So they throw a lot at you. It's kind of a Jed Fish, Jimmy Dowdry, their offensive coordinator for Washington, have done a really good job these first couple of weeks of making some plays, and now this Buckeye defense is going to have to step up and make some plays. So I like the way it matches up. I think Ohio State's defense can get after these guys, but that's why we play the game.
I got to ask you about Ohio State's offensive line, Jim. I like this matchup, Ohio State's offensive line against Washington's D-line. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that, there's some things that Ohio State's offensive line can do. First of all, they played really good so far, just giving up 1 sack. And I think when I read -3 yards by our running backs, as far as negative plays, tackle for losses. So, after 3 games, that's a good stat, but you got to continue to build on that, and that's what we want to see this week. Do they continue to get better? Going against the last 2 weeks, I thought Texas had a really good defensive front, and we did a decent job against them. Didn't score a lot of points, but did enough to win that ball game. And when you look at Washington, they got some talent on that defensive line. Jacob Lane, number 48, he stands out as a guy that can get some pressure, inside. Ontario Thompson, who, we played against him when he was at Western Michigan, so we're a little bit familiar. He was at Iowa, so he's been around a little bit, so they might have some film on him. But knowing what they have to do, each and every position, and then playing on the crowd, right? Playing in the noise. You got to make sure you're not having false starts, so they got to be keyed in on the snap count. I always talk about there's so much you can forget by the time you break the huddle and get up to that line of scrimmage, but you got to understand the snap count and the play each and every time, especially when you're on the road, so you can focus in and not have those unnecessary penalties.
Jim, so here's a fun little game to play every week. Who leads Ohio State in carries this week?
I got to think Bo Jackson is going to get those opportunities. He's a guy that's really showed up the last couple of weeks now. being on the road, do they have enough confidence in him to give him that pill? Because I think, he's special when he gets the ball in his hands. We've seen that. But we didn't see that against Texas because he never got the opportunity. So, how they call it, close to the vest, I can see him getting CJ some carries. Obviously he's been a veteran, played in a lot of football games throughout his career. West Virginia before he got to Ohio State. And then James Peoples, he's a quality back. He's just waiting to break out. Which I think they'll continue to split him up, but I wouldn't be surprised at the end of the day if Bo Jackson has a few more of those carries, just kind of from what I've seen at practice this week.
Jim, do you think the Buckeyes are going to go with mostly silent cadences today?
Yeah, I think they'll mix that in a little bit, but that's certainly, if it gets loud enough, they'll go to that, and that's, something where every offensive lineman, turns into a defender because you're waiting for a reaction. And whenever, we're not reacting on the snap, kind of puts you a bead behind that defense. But I think there could be, situations in this ball game, and best way to take the crowd out is get up 17 points, and that's got to be, something that this offense has to start fast. The key is, do they, if they win the toss, they take the ball. They try to take it down the field and put it in, or they want to defer the second half. But I think, as long as Washington, the way they've been offensively, you don't want to get behind these guys because they found ways to stay ahead and score multiple points. And, their defense got some key turnovers last week against Washington State. But, silent count, if you have to use it, you're going to have to use it in one of these games before the end of the year. You better be good at it, and Ohio State will find that out today if they are.
If a Jim Lachey was in this game, would you get in the ear of the coach and say, if you win the toss, we want the ball?
Oh, I love taking the ball. Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of was our philosophy. When I was with Don Coryell, who, by the way, was a Washington grad here, played here in the 40s, he wanted to have the football. When I got in the NFL, Joe Gibbs, who played for Don Coryell at San Diego State, had that same philosophy. Go up, get 7, put them in a position where they got a trail. So for me personally, I like that, but I certainly understand deferring and having the ball in the second half, especially when you're on the road. But personally, I'd like to get out there right away, get those hits underneath you, kind of get in the game, so to speak, and ultimately take it down the field and put a touchdown. Then your defense can go out there and get a 3 and out, and you got an opportunity to do that again and keep compounding. But, that's just me personally. We'll see what Coach Day comes up with.
Yeah, he typically defers, but I would like to see him take the ball because getting the crowd out of the game as much as possible early would be huge, Jim.
Yeah, and I think, when you look at Washington, they're Takario Davis is going to be out. Al Ukta, the linebacker, Tariq Al Ukta, looks like he's going to be out. So they're going to have some new faces in there. And you want to make sure, test their communication skills, especially when you got guys like Carnell Tate. Certainly Jeremiah Smith, who's, 4 catches away from being on, having 100. And that'd be he's fastest in his career to 1,500 yards. He's probably going to be the fastest to 100 catches if he can do that today. But when you have those guys outside, that's going to stress the defense, and you have to make some plays underneath. So maybe a Max Clare, our tight ends, have been good in this, and that's going to have to continue today. But, starting fast, taking it down the field is certainly key in any ball game you play, especially when you're on the road.
Good stuff, Jim. Thanks for setting the scene, my man. Enjoy.
All right, I'll talk to you guys. Yep, bye-bye.
That is the former All-American Jim Lachey with us. It would be quite a message to send to your young quarterback, almost like a subliminal deal. You win the toss, you say, we want the ball.
On the road.
What does that mean to Julian Sayin when he gets that news, if it were to happen?
Yeah, that's a confidence boost right there, I would think, right? I mean, now
either way,
I'd be shocked if Ohio State wins the toss and Ryan Day does not defer. That's just what he does. He defers. Not always. There's been times, especially in big games. I don't think there's been a big game where there's been some gimme games where I think that he's taken the ball to begin the game. Can't remember a big game where he did not defer after winning the toss. So we'll see what happens.
The common belief is that to start a game, you're not quite in rhythm yet. And so a lot of coaches would prefer to get my defense on the field, let us get a 3 and out, and then we have a real tilt in the first half, and then we know we're getting the ball in the second half. The counter argument to that would be that you can hit them up early with stuff maybe they haven't seen or are not expecting. And maybe you can hit a home run early. But I'll tell you, it would be fun to see today. This is the Curtis & Associates Fan Tailgate Show. Remember, they don't get paid unless you get paid. When we come back, It's back to Seattle, and we'll check in with our good friend Tim May, and he'll set the scene from the press box. This is the Toyota Fan Tailgate Show. We are presented by Mountain Dew right here on the Fan.
If the sound of another man slammed against plexiglass turns you on, you've come to the right place. Proud to be your home for Jackets hockey. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Your home, your comfort, your family. That's everything. Big companies shout, big ads scream. But trust is quiet. It's a tech who fixes instead of sells. A family business here since 66. Northland Heating and Cooling, your local Lennox premier dealer. Honest comfort, real people, real peace of mind. Northland Heating and Cooling.
Toyota gives you the power of choice. Now through September 30th, get 4.75 APR financing on a stylish new 25 Corolla or 5.75 on Corolla Hybrid. Excludes Corolla Cross and GR Corolla. Or lease a gas-powered 25 Corolla LE for $199 a month for 36 months with $36.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS, tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
At Kemba Financial Credit Union, we care about you. Consumers like you say they don't want monthly fees for checking, and we listen. Introducing hassle-free checking with no monthly service fee. Use it as an easy place to deposit and transfer your money, along with your everyday banking needs. Plus, Kemba's expansive digital banking services make it easy for you to bank how you want. At Kemba, we're always thinking of ways to put you and your finances first. Visit Kemba.org. Federally insured by NCUA. Restrictions apply.
Bobcat Enterprises says thank you for your support as they celebrate 50 years of serving the construction industry. Established in 1975 in Cincinnati, Bobcat Enterprises has expanded to 9 stores to meet you where you are in Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana. Find equipment for any construction project, including compact track loaders and excavators. Plus, Bobcat Enterprises rents compact equipment and attachments. Find current specials and locations at bobcatent.com or follow Bobcat Enterprises Inc. on Facebook. Bobcat Enterprises, 50 years working for you.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. And if you're gearing up for the big game, don't forget the MVP of desserts, Sanders Chocolate Fudge Bumpy Cake. This legendary treat just made its way to Ohio. Finally! We're talking rich devil's food cake, buttery cream bumps, and a fudge icing that is just unfair. They'd throw a flag on it if it was actually on the field. Bring one to your next tailgate, watch party, or even a team celebration, and you'll be the real hero. Available now at Kroger and Meijer, Sanders Bumpy Cake. It's game day greatness. Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. If you're a sports card fan like me, you've got to check out Midwest Cards in the Arena District, right outside Nationwide Arena. These guys are true collectors themselves, and they've built a shop that lets you experience card collecting in a whole new way. They've got sealed boxes, packs, single cards, signed memorabilia, and plenty of TVs in their lounge. Yeah, they have a lounge. And don't forget the card bar, where you can open packs while you have an adult beverage. It's awesome. Stop by Midwest Cards today and tell them T-Bone sent you.
Drive your dream car home today, no matter your credit history. Hey, it's Phil here at Capital Ford of Columbus and Whitehall. We proudly accept all credit types, good, bad, or none. Get pre-approved in minutes and hit the road with confidence. Get your new ride today. Call 614-861-7150 or shop our huge selection online at capitalfordofcolumbus.com. Your perfect ride is credit ready and waiting at Capital Ford of Columbus.
The Ohio State University Army ROTC isn't just a curriculum. It's more than just a path to a degree. For more than 150 years, we have been forging tomorrow's leaders. Here you will find your purpose, your mission, your ROTC family. At Ohio State, you're not just joining Army ROTC, you're stepping into a history of excellence that spans generations. Learn more at arotc.osu.edu. Buckeyes lead the way. Score big this season with an MVP package from Lennox and Northland Heating and Cooling. Call today for your free estimate and special savings on Lennox products or visit hvacnorthland.com. That's Northland Heating and Cooling, your local Lennox premier dealer.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. This is the Fans Game Day Scoreboard.
This game day update is sponsored by Mutual Mutual Federal, proudly serving Columbus with personal and business solutions at mutualfederal.com.
And I'm Cole Bartimus. We are counting down to 3:30 when your first-ranked Buckeyes are going to be in Seattle playing Washington. Last night, got to update you. 2 ranked teams went on the road, and both of them lost. Number 8, Florida State, falls to Virginia, 46-38 in double OT. And number 24, TCU, falls to conference opponent Arizona State, 27-24. We're wrapping up some first quarters here in the noon slate. Illinois called and USC answered. Illinois went up 7-0. USC ties at 7-7. Notre Dame had a 14-3 lead up on Arkansas. Jeremiah Love with 2 touchdowns, but Arkansas just scored a touchdown with an offensive lineman receiving a handoff, so now it's 14-10. Number 16, Georgia Tech, still up 3-0 on Wake Forest. And Rutgers in Minnesota. Rutgers up 14-7. That's a Big Ten matchup going on right now.
The sausages are sizzling. This is the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Tailgate Show. Proud to be the flagship home of the Buckeyes. The Fan.
All right, back at it. Second hour of the Tailgate Show. Anthony Rothman, my man Dave Biddle, live at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Get on out here, bet on the games, have a lot of fun, eat some great food. If you can't be at Husky Stadium in Seattle, the special few, like our man Tim May, who's out there planting his flag and apparently has a backstage pass as well. Right up there in the booth, my man. How was the trip?
The trip's been excellent so far, as a matter of fact, fellas. And it's really funny because I was just looking at the stadium yesterday. I came out, the saying goes, get the lay of the land, and because I've been here three previous times. But I remember in '86 when I came out here, there was no upper deck or cover over. What do you call that? Overhang on the east side, on the north side of the stadium, and then they added that right after Ohio State left in '87. But it's really funny how this thing is metamorphed. Is that a correct term? Metamorphed. It's something that was the same, but it's turned into something different.
Tim, did you catch any fish last night? Did you go to the fish market and catch any salmon or anything?
I want nothing. I want nothing to do, Dave, with anything that has to do with being a fishmonger. But my man Adam King, I guess, did. He was 1 out of 2, and I'm not sure what they did with the first one. I maybe gave it away to charity or something. But yeah, it's pretty cool down Pike Place. I stayed away from downtown. I'm staying up north of the stadium here, but I did go over to Bellevue, Washington. Which I think is hometown or home area for Bill Gates, etc. And this is where the team stayed, and it's a town of like 150,000 town. It's not the right term, city, but man alive, it's got a downtown that beats a heck out of Columbus, really, in terms of buildings, etc. But this is a really strange little area of the United States because so many people are focused into one little spot here in an otherwise vast state.
Did you go knock on the door? I mean, Gates, that guy owes you money, I heard. Barnick,
well, if you know
money.
me, I always try to find the back way in. Like I found the back way into the stadium yesterday, but I always try to find a back way into anywhere. But I hit 2 checkpoint Charlies and said, okay, that's it.
Are you sensing a 4-quarter game today?
Yeah, I kind of am because these kind of a team like Washington is not like this is gonna sound stupid, but you're not playing Grambling, you're not even playing Ohio U, and Ohio U turned into a second half game, correct? Definitely a third quarter game, and this is a more talented team than Ohio University. I don't think it's as talented as Ohio State right off the bat, but the bottom line is they're going to be throwing punches, man, and we'll see which punches land. And they've got a quarterback that at any minute can take it to the house on his own or throw the ball down the field. So this is Demond Williams is a diminutive. Demond Williams is an interesting cat in all kinds of ways. He's a rich man's Parker Navarro, the quarterback for Ohio University, and so we'll see what they can do with their offense and spreading it around. But I think Ohio State matches up pretty well going against their defense, especially if Washington insists on playing man coverage most of the time, with Walters there as their defensive coordinator. But even before that, Jed Fish believes in that. So I'm just looking at Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate and perhaps Brandon Ennis or Mylan Graham or one of those guys really may be going off in this game, and maybe a couple of them if that's the way Ohio State decides to attack it. I don't know why you wouldn't. If you watch their video, it's ripe there for the aerial assault.
Absolutely, Tim. And as you know, Washington is banged up on defense. I think even fully healthy, I would like this matchup, but they're banged up defensively. You're playing in a hostile environment. I think the best mode of operation would be to take some shots early, try to get this crowd out of it. I know you're risking, if you don't hit the deep ball, all of a sudden you're behind schedule. I get that. But do you expect we'll see an aggressive Ryan Day and Brian Hartline like we saw against Tennessee in the CFP, like we saw in the Rose Bowl? Or do you think they might come out there a little conservative?
I think I would lean toward aggressive. I mean, Ryan's kind of had that look in his eye this week heading into this game, and even getting off the bus yesterday when they went and did their best Fridays in football and came back, and we staged them like getting off the bus with Ryan Day like he usually does when they just fly in the day before the game, right? But I think he feels pretty good about their plan. Is I guess the way of putting it. And I really like this Ohio State offensive line, the way it's come around and stuff. And of course they got to get the running game going, and Go and Bo rhyme. I don't know if y'all noticed that or not. So we'll see how much Bo Jackson plays compared to the last couple of weeks. But when your head coach speaks favorably of him and even kind of laughs at, hey, anybody can see, what's going on, from the standpoint of production. But I would see the running back thing being another three-headed monster. But I would see Bo Jackson kind of emerging from that. So if they get that going a little bit, I think there will be a lot of things there in the passing game that can be had.
I'm with you. I feel like this is going to be another step in the evolution of Ryan Day even as a head coach. I know he's not into style points now because he doesn't need to. I mean, maybe when he first became a head coach and had all this talent, he felt he had to feature everybody and score a lot of points to impress in a different era. But now, playoff era, it's just a different beast. I think he knows it's all about winning the game, and he's also, the reigning champ. So but I think it is about taking the next step. He's got a young quarterback, the experience on the road. I think he wants to inject a little confidence into him. Dave and I were even kidding earlier, if Ryan Day if they win the toss, would he actually say to his young quarterback, you get it first? I doubt it, but it'd be an interesting message to send.
I do too, because I think on the road especially, boy, if you can get that first possession of the second half, I mean that's huge in my opinion. So, but you're right. I mean, I think I haven't even said the name Julian Sayin yet. I'm just saying, but the bottom line is that's the guy who needs to take that next step today. But more a sense of he needs to be allowed to take that next step, right? You know how your parents watch you watch your little kid walking around holding his hands on the coffee table, and finally he lets go and goes. That's kind of what they need to do with Julian Sayin, because I think he's capable of going. I mean, all these players believe in him now. He's a different dude than he was even 3 games ago in terms of talking to him in the huddle and on the sidelines. He's more forthright. He's more confident. The players say. Is he going to make mistakes? Absolutely. But you really like where the offense is trending. I do believe with him at the controls, and I just keep going back to this. I think there are going to be things there, fellas, for Jeremiah Smith all day if they decide to go that route.
Yeah, and Julian's saying we know about his accuracy. His high school coach and his quarterback coach nicknamed him the human jugs machine. So we knew that coming in, and he has shown that and then some. I think I've been even more impressed with his poise for a young guy, Tim.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. And, and last week, he had to, the last game, against Ohio U, the pocket got a little dirty a few times, and he moved around fairly well. The one play that I think the whole team would like to have back is when he scrambled, stepped up into the middle, and and missed Carnell Tate maybe in the back of the end zone, breaking open just as he got tripped. And because he could have done 2 things there. He could have thrown it to Carnell Tate, or he could have run into the end zone. And but he still was trying to make something happen down the field. And so you learn from every one of those situations. This is a faster, more athletic defense than they faced against Ohio U, without a doubt, in my opinion. But all those lessons get learned, and I'll be more interested maybe today, and also seeing maybe the running backs involved a little bit more in the passing game in terms of catching the ball. So that could be another thing on the agenda today. As far as Washington, they think they can get pressure with their front 4, and I haven't seen them do a whole lot of blitz in the first several games, but they haven't played anybody yet, right? So I'll be interested to see how the front handles that and how Julian Sayin handles it from the standpoint of calling protections.
No doubt. Nice little scene setter, my man. I hope you enjoy the weekend and the game, and we'll talk to you soon. Have a safe trip back.
I will see you when I see you, as the old saying goes. And Biddle, I'll see you in the middle.
There
Absolutely.
you go, my friend.
Follow your nose, it always knows. Tim May with us here on the Tailgate Show. Your kickoff forecast is brought to you by Sunbelt Rentals. See why the Columbus Builders building Columbus lean on green. 65 degrees expected out there at Husky Stadium in Seattle, topping out at 72 degrees. Should be a picture-perfect game for football. Where is the smart money? This spread has only gone one direction since we looked ahead last week. Scotty Vegas will jump on, the handicapper to the Stars, and tell us where he has his dough today. It's the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Fan Tailgate Show right here on The Fan.
Bobby Carpenter demands that you watch Morning Juice on YouTube. If you don't, Tito will move into your house.
Live at 6 a.m. on YouTube and streaming on the Fan app.
Did you know that Byers Airport Subaru is the oldest Subaru retailer in the entire country? And we're conveniently located right by the airport. We take pride in treating every customer like family because that's what's kept us around for generations. Right now, drive home a new 2025 Subaru Outback for 1.9% for up to 72 months. Start your journey today at columbussubaru.com. Byers Auto, driving the next generation of buyers. Subject to credit approval. Financing offer term up to 72 months on 2025 Subaru Outback. Cannot be combined with any other incentive. See dealer for details. Offer ends 9/30/25.
When you're building a single-family house, multi-unit house, townhouse, penthouse, row house, or tiny house, lean on green. Sunbelt Rentals. The Columbus builders who are building Columbus do. They know they can rent the right equipment at the right price right now, thanks to the largest rental fleet and most rental locations in Columbus. All powered by people for equipment know-how, support, transport, and training. So no matter what you've got going in or going up, lean on green. Sunbelt Rentals. Learn more at sunbeltrentals.com.
Our clients deserve for us to care, and they deserve to feel serviced. They have questions, and they deserve answers. We're counselors first because I'm not selling them anything. I'm trying to teach clients how to protect themselves. At Curtis & Associates, we're personal injury attorneys.Ve helped and continue to help hundreds and hundreds of clients every year. That's important to us. If you've been injured in an accident and it's not your fault, call now. 614-GOT-HURT. That's 614-GOT-HURT. Curtis & Associates. Attorneys who care.
At Kemba Financial Credit Union, we care about you. Consumers like you say they don't want monthly fees for checking, and we listen. Introducing hassle-free checking with no monthly service fee. Use it as an easy place to deposit and transfer your money, along with your everyday banking needs. Plus, Kemba's expansive digital banking services make it easy for you to bank how you want. At Kemba, we're always thinking of ways to put you and your finances first. Visit Kemba.org. Federally insured by NCUA. Restrictions apply.
Hi, Bob Capace from Worthington Jewelers. Coming up, more football talk on The Fan.
That's right, Bob. And just like our hometown team, Worthington Jewelers is all about tradition, family, and winning moments.
Celebrate your victories with us, your hometown jeweler, Worthington Jewelers.
Nobody has more all-wheel drive or electrified hybrid choices than Toyota, including the best-selling Camry. It's all hybrid all the time with available all-wheel drive. Now through September 30th, get 4.75 APR financing on any new 25 Camry or lease a Camry LE from just $279 a month for 36 months with $36.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS, tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Remember when sports used to be about calling up your favorite host and saying how stupid they are? Good news. We still do that. The Fan Call-In Show.
Hello. Sponsored by ESPN Bet at Hollywood Casino.
Sunday mornings at 8 on The Fan.
All the folks at Buckeye, night or day.
My toilet's clogged, backed up too. The sink is running slow. Water's backed up everywhere. Oh, please don't overflow.
Clogged drain, no problem. It's 93 or free. I'll clear any drain or you don't pay with a 1-year guarantee.
It's 93 or free. Guaranteed.
Call 614-683-9911. Call the folks at Buckeye, night or day.
Don't miss the Right Rug Flooring Outlet Super Sale. Save up to 80% on truckloads of floors and more, including tiles starting at 19 cents a square foot and a massive selection of carpet, luxury vinyl, laminate, and hardwood, even installation supplies. Everything you need for your next project. Save up to 80% during the Right Rug Flooring Outlet Super Sale on Poth Road in Whitehall. Hurry, the Outlet Super Sale ends September 30th. Dealers welcome.
We're back to football talk, but before we kick off, a quick thanks to Bob and the team at Worthington Jewelers.
Thanks, Common Man. Whether it's game day or every day, we're here to help you celebrate life's biggest moments.
Worthington Jewelers, your hometown jeweler.
What he said.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Here's a look at your 10 weather impact forecast as we head through the weekend. As we're tracking sunshine and warm temperatures here for today and tomorrow. We'll see mostly sunny skies here today with highs into the lower 80s. And then for tonight, mostly clear, cooling down to the upper 50s overnight. And then on your Sunday, more sunshine and even warmer temperatures as we reach the mid-80s here for your Sunday afternoon with a high of around 85 degrees. And then we'll see the warm weather stick around into Monday and Tuesday with highs into the lower 80s. And that's a look at your 10 weather impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Aaron White here on 97.1 The Fan.
During this 10-second promo, Rothman will lose money gambling on something.
People like you come here and blow the family nest egg that built this town.
Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan. You're listening to the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Tailgate Show, getting you ready for the Buckeye game. Your home for Ohio State athletics. The Fan.
All right, we are back live from Hollywood Casino Columbus. Anthony Rothman, Dave Biddle, and the man, the Tower of Power, the one and only Scotty Vegas. He will prepare some tickets for you that will dazzle the eye and illuminate the mind, and maybe make your wallet disappear as well. Good to see you, my man.
Good to see you.
How we feeling?
Oh, great. I'll tell you what. I've already come across a little ticket.
Did you get that out of the hamper?
This is, yeah. This is a nice little ESPN bet.
Okay.
Bet where it was a money line Ohio State, $100,000 just on the money line, which of course is Ohio State to win.
That was Dan Volpe.
$100,000 potential payout. $128,000.
That was a bet that was made today on Ohio State to win the game?
It was made about 20 minutes ago.
Why is it almost 28. All crinkled up? What is the problem here?
Yeah, that's a good question. It was in my wallet, and, I'm sitting down, kind of moving around, and, it's all wrinkled up. But, yeah, it's Ohio State money line. And I think that's interesting. This has been a weird line, guys.
Yes.
When it first came out, you and I, Dave, were guessing at this line being about a 2-touchdown line.
I guessed way over, yeah.
And in the look ahead last week, you and I were talking about this, Anthony. The line was Ohio State minus 13.5. It comes out, it's surprisingly lower than that. It starts out at 11.5, gets bought down to 8.5. At one point this week, it was Ohio State minus 7.5. It's gone back up right now to 8.5, but it's been a wild roller coaster with this betting line.
You got two different streaks here. You got the Huskies that have won 22 straight at home, and you got an Ohio State team that's won 19 straight roadies against unranked teams.
Yeah.
So which side do you go on? Usually you err on the number one team in the country. Now, that's a money line bet. That has nothing to do with the spread. So that's a big money bet. He's over there now. He's relaxed. He looks relaxed.
Yeah,
if you're betting $100,000 on this game, that means that's probably like $10 to that guy.
So it's funny. I've been going around here at the casino because I have this stat that I cannot wait to tell you guys, because I've been telling everybody at the casino this, and every reaction's like, wow, really? So in the last 20 years, the number one team in the country has only been a single-digit favorite against an unranked team twice. This week, Ohio State, number one team in the country, is an 8.5-point favorite over Washington. So that's one of two times that this has happened in the last 20 years.
Wow.
So the only other one was Notre Dame when they were number one. They played USC, and Notre Dame was a 4.5-point favorite in that game.
So let's look at it this way.
Yep.
Let's all admit the Husky Stadium is a decent home field advantage for them. It has been, 22 straight. If this game is played at a neutral today, it's double digits.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
We got to give Washington at least 2.5 for being at home.
More than that.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
So I was lowballing. So on a neutral field, Ohio State's what, an 11.5-point favorite?
Probably 13.
Yeah, they're up there.
Yeah.
So if Ohio State can actually handle the crowd, and which you'd think they will be able to, I actually think that's kind of a gift that you're getting Ohio State this low, because they're leaning in to the home crowd. Now, I give respect to Washington. It hasn't come across a key number. But all I'm hearing is they just lost their best corner to injury. One of their best linebackers is out. Yet that thing is staying at 8.5.
So one of the betting tips that I have today, guys, is as far as the Heisman goes and Jeremiah Smith. And I'll explain why. Obviously, with Washington having a lot of injuries, that's a problem, right? So they play a lot of man, which sets up perfectly, obviously, for Ohio State's wide receivers and Jeremiah Smith. I think if Jeremiah Smith has a big day today, he goes from right now being 15-1 to win the Heisman to single digits. And there's a couple reasons why. Right now, your leading candidate for the Heisman Trophy with the best odds is Indiana's quarterback Mendoza. Had a great week last week, went from 30-1 last week all the way to right now he's 8-1 to win the Heisman. I think you could see a similar jump. If Jeremiah Smith today pops out, which I believe he will, couple touchdowns, I think he could move into that favorite role because all those quarterbacks that we saw before the start of the year, the Nussmeier, the Manning, they've fallen way behind, right? Klubnik from Clemson, another one. Those were the preseason favorites. Now we're kind of getting into a new group of guys that are up there for the Heisman. I think live betting, if you see Jeremiah Smith a touchdown early, get a second touchdown, I think those odds go down to single digits after the game.
Okay, and I like that, although I did hear Herbie say on game day that he feels like Washington's going to do whatever they can to take him away, and that would leave Carnell Tate more of a chance to make an impact today. But I agree with you. Jeremiah's tough to check. The other guys I want to ask you about real fast, quarterback-wise, and I'll get Dave's opinion on this as well. Mendoza for Indiana, he's going to have to play at Penn State, at Oregon.
Yep.
So, obviously, if he picks off one of them, he could stay right where he is if he has some good stat days. Are you leaning into any of the other quarterbacks that have big games today the same way you're looking at Jeremiah? And I'm talking about Simpson for Bama, and I'm talking about Dante Moore for Oregon.
Especially Moore for Oregon. Yes, on the same way. So he's 11-1 today. And look, this is what I did last week because people think, okay, live betting, I'm only live betting games, right? I'm watching games and getting results on game spreads, that kind of stuff. But you can live bet the Heisman Trophy as games are going on.
As you did last week with Mendoza.
It's exactly right. So while Indiana's marching down the field, scoring at will against Illinois, I grabbed Mendoza, Indiana's quarterback, at 30-1, and then I wake up the next morning and he's 8-1, and he's your Heisman favorite.
And
so
you were yelling at Cignetti to play him in the fourth quarter.
Right. Well, he played a Mendoza. He just played the other Mendoza, his brother.
The brother.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, what are some other best bets you have today around college football?
So it's funny because, Dave, I was talking to the sportsbook manager here, Justin and Noah, and they were talking about how they are taking nothing but Oregon money tonight against Penn State.
Wow.
Like, it's unbelievable. In fact, it's about 90% of the money and tickets here at the casino are coming in on Oregon.
Plus 3.5?
Plus 3.5.
Okay.
Now, I'll tell you, you know me, I love going against the public when they're betting heavily on one side. And so I'm looking at this game tonight, and Penn State, I know it's a night game. This is the biggest build-out game that they've had in a long time. This is a huge opportunity. They haven't played anybody this year. They're healthy. I think, to me, Penn State is the right side in the night game tonight.
If not now, then when for big game James?
That's it. Everybody in the world thinks, okay, big game James is never going to get this done. Never going to get it done. Look, Oregon hasn't played anybody this year. Penn State hasn't played anybody, but they're bringing back a really, really good team that made the Final Four last year.
And we know that is a extremely difficult environment, that whiteout at night. I mean, and I saw Troy Smith, who's as mentally tough as you can get on a football field. He got rattled there. His fourth-year junior season in 2005, that whiteout. That was the first time Ohio State had to play at the whiteout, and that wasn't the only reason Ohio State lost. But Dante Moore's been very impressive. But this is going to be his first road start since he was a freshman at UCLA. Completely different. I could see him getting rattled tonight. I tell you what, though, guys, I feel like it's a 50-50 game, so I see why people are betting on Oregon. I like the value there at plus 3.5. Like, I could see this going either way. You're giving me 3.5 points.
I get it. So does the whole public. I'm telling you, the whole line over here is betting Penn State.
That does make me
betting against Penn State.
That does give me pause. Go against the public is the correct mantra.
I do think a fun money line for people today, because there are great games all day long. Like this is like the perfect sports day. All right, I know we're getting killed in the Ryder Cup. The U.S. team's getting killed in the Ryder Cup. You got the Ryder Cup going on. You have great games, great noon games, great 3:30 games. I like a little parlay, Anthony, a little money line Ohio State, because I do think the 8.5 is a little low.
I mean, you already have $100,000 on it, so we'll put more on it. Go ahead.
But I'm going to take a money line parlay of Ohio State at 3:30, and then I'm putting in Penn State later tonight. I'm taking Penn State, Ohio State. That's the money line parlay today.
Do you have any opinion on the track meet today on whether this game will go over 53.5?
I love the over. I love the over today. That's the other thing too, is thinking about this. I think Washington is going to score on Ohio State. I really do. They've got, I think, a top 10 quarterback. I think they've got a top 5 running back in the country, and probably a top 10 wide receiver in the country. So they've got weapons all over the place.
And Jed Fish is an offensive-minded head coach.
I think they're going to score. I really do. I think they're going to get up and down the field. I see this one as like a 38-28 type game.
Oh, wow.
So I think not only over, I think way over.
Okay. Well, you said the public wrote the book, Gambling for Dummies, so you know what? You got
there.
They wrote that book.
I almost crinkled up this $100,000 ticket again. Get that away from me.
Just $100,000, just waving around. Now it's on the floor. Hey, by the way, great shirt. Good to have you.
Yes, you too, sir.
You guys are looking good over there. I didn't get the memo. I do have one of those shirts.
Yeah,
Dan's got it on as well. Our engineer, Dan Volpe. What does Dan do?
Shirt off, give it to
He gets it done.
Live on the air.
I'm not that far
Scotty,
away from my house. I could just go get one.
But if you had to make the bet today, are you laying the 8.5?
Yes. I absolutely am. And again, I'm taking the Penn State, and I am ready to load up on Jeremiah Smith Heisman.
Okay.
This is the time. This is the time to do it, because I think he's going to get 2 touchdowns today, and that 15-1 is going to single digits.
All right, Scotty, good job, my man.
Yeah.
Scotty Vegas, handicapper to the stars. That's where the smart money is today. You'll be tracking that. We'll come back with our keys to the game. We're live at Hollywood Casino Columbus, right here on The Fan.
A lot of hosts have been on our airways in the past 30 years. Some good, some bad, some really bad. Anyway, sorry for that. The Fan.
Drive your dream car home today, no matter your credit history. Hey, it's Phil here at Capital Ford of Columbus and Whitehall. We proudly accept all credit types, good, bad, or none. Get pre-approved in minutes and hit the road with confidence. Get your new ride today. Call 614-861-7150 or shop our huge selection online at capitalfordofcolumbus.com. Your perfect ride is credit ready and waiting at Capital Ford of Columbus.
Buckeye fans, introducing Behind the O, the brand new app packed with original athlete and fan-driven Ohio State sports content. It's free to download in the App Store on iOS and Android, and every time you open it, you're helping generate NIL dollars for your favorite Buckeye athletes with zero cost to you. Get exclusive access to fresh behind-the-scenes videos, training routines, athlete lifestyles, and more from every Ohio State sport. Don't wait. Download Behind the O now and get closer to your Buckeyes than ever before.
Behind the O, free for fans, NIL for athletes.
They're trained. They're fired up.
Let's do it.
When you need heat, they can't be beat. They're Ohio State's undefeated heating and cooling team. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Hey, it's Timmy Hall, and it's party time, baby, because the Grove City Smokin' Hot Wing Music Fest is back Saturday, October 4th at American Nitro. From noon to 9, you get wings, beer, live music, football on the big screen, and more. Don't miss the wing eating and bobbing for wings contest either. Ooh, veterans, military, and kids under 12 get in free. Get the tickets at americannitro.com/wingfest. Presented to you by The Fan, Columbus Chamber, Brex Paving, Darby Dental, and Equipment Rental. Wing Fest 2025, the the ultimate fall kickoff. Don't miss it.
Start your morning knowing anything is possible, because if these guys are hosting a radio show, imagine the possibilities. T-Bone and Tyvis.
Weekday mornings from 6 to 9.
Your home for football, food, and fun. The Fan.
Hi, I'm Laura De Leon, president of Key Bank in Central Ohio. Here at Key, we believe in providing a helping hand in our community. While helping hands are wonderful, a helping bank is even better. That's a bank committed to solving people's financial needs, but it doesn't stop there. We advocate, we support, we listen, and we volunteer. That's a bank that is always ready to meet you in the moment. Key Bank opens doors.
Key Bank, member FDIC.
Give me a mountain with lots to do. Give me the sunshine, give me a dew. Give me something simple and true. All I need is sunshine and a refreshing mountain dew. So give me my good dance, give me a dew.
Grab some friends and an ice-cold Mountain Dew today.
Mountain Dew.
Nobody has more all-wheel drive or electrified hybrid choices than Toyota. Now through September 30th, get 4.75 APR financing on a new 25 RAV4 or 5.75 on RAV4 Hybrid. Excludes plug-ins. Or lease a gas-powered RAV4 LE for $299 a month for 36 months with $36.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
This is the Fans Game Day Scoreboard.
This game day update is sponsored by Mutual Federal, proudly serving Columbus with personal and business solutions at mutualfederal.com.
And I'm Cole Bartimas. We are now just 2 hours away from your number one Ohio State Buckeyes taking on Washington in Seattle. It is an awesome slate of college football today, right on the heels of an exciting Friday night where two ranked teams went down. We are approaching halftime of the noon slate. Number 23, Illinois, is a 14-7 lead over number 21, USC in Champaign. Illinois also driving in that one. Notre Dame is a 28-13 lead over Arkansas. Jeremiah Love has 3 touchdowns in that one. And the last 2 times we spoke, number 16, Georgia Tech, had a 3-0 lead over Wake Forest. Wake Forest now leads 14-3 in that. And we got a Big Ten matchup taking place in Minnesota as well. Rutgers and Minnesota tied at 14. And some later games, we got LSU and Ole Miss at 3:30, Oregon and Penn State in a whiteout in Happy Valley at 7:30.
The only way to get ready for the game.
1, 2, 3.
This is the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Tailgate Show. Your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan. It's time for the keys to the game.
Sponsored by your Central Ohio Toyota dealers. Visit toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
All right, a couple hours before kickoff, Ohio State on the road, first time this year. First Big Tenner out in Washington, as I like to say. A lot of people think this could be a sneaky good game. We'll see. They're preparing Lake Washington for perhaps a plunge tonight. Ohio State's going to have something to say about that. Washington went out and played the Apple Cup last week. They led Wazoo by only 7 late third, finally put them away. Their offense does average about 500 yards, so you got to get after them. You got to contain them. I know that Damon Williams has been called a superstar, being compared to guys like Kyler Murray and Jaden Daniels and guys in the NFL. Whether that's fair or not, I've watched some tape on him. He's scary fast, and he throws darts, man. He's got a good arm. He's a true dual threat. Ohio State should have their hands full with him. Now, if they can get pressure, that's going to be the key. The pressure with containment, I think it's everything in this game. I think that's the way that Washington stays in it. If this guy breaks contain and they use him in the run game, they do jet sweeps and all that. I just think this is the kind of game, Dave, where Ohio State has to truly look at this as a business trip. That's cliche to say that when you're on the road, but they've got to tackle hard. Coleman's going to be a violent runner. And, of course, limit your mistakes as best as possible. But I do think the real key to the game is not letting Damon Williams Jr. break contain and rip off some big runs, because that's what's going to keep the electricity alive in that stadium.
And you have to make him uncomfortable. You know, it wasn't the only reason the Oregon game didn't go Ohio State's way the first time and did go their way the second time. There were many other factors. But Dylan Gabriel was not hit at all the first game. Second game, he looked rattled pretty early because they were getting a lot of pressure on him. They were hitting him. You don't have to necessarily get sacks, so those would be good, but you have to make Dewan Williams Jr. you got to make him a little nervous, uncomfortable. And if you hit him, even better. But I in addition to that, I'm going with the 3 T's are the keys here. So in the trenches, Ohio State has to win the battle in the trenches. That goes in any big game. All right, got to win the turnover battle, or at least not lose the turnover battle. If I'm Ohio State, you tell me we break even in the turnover battle, I take that. What you can't do if you're Ohio State, because I think Ohio State has the better team, you can't lose the turnover battle by 2 or more. So win the turnover battle, or at least have a stalemate there. And then the next thing, the third T is touchdowns. You have to score touchdowns in the red zone if you're Ohio State. It's a small sample size, but I'm getting kind of a feeling of 2 years ago where they were not very good in the red zone, not very good in short yardage. And then last year, they were one of the best teams in the country. What was the difference between those 2 years? 2023, no threat to run at the quarterback position. Last year, Will Howard, 7 rushing touchdowns, several other key first downs he picked up with his legs. And then what else does that do? The defense has to respect the quarterback run. Now, Julian Sain is more mobile than Kyle McCord, so I know he can do it. Will they do it? And even if they don't necessarily run the quarterback, can they convert red zone opportunities into touchdowns? They were very bad at it a couple weeks ago against Ohio University. 6 trips to the red zone, only 2 touchdowns. You have to be much better than that, especially in a hostile environment.
I think what they can do, and I'm going to bet they will do, is that Lincoln Kienholz gets in the game somewhere. I think there is a package for him. We just talked about the running quarterback. It just feels like he's not going to take over the game, but I feel they could throw something at Washington that maybe they're not ready for with him. And also, it works in reverse as well. Washington has to score touchdowns, too, to stay in the game. Like, if they get down there and Ohio State's bend but don't break, Ohio State still wins the game. When you're an underdog like Washington, you're not going to beat Ohio State kicking field goals. They know that. And so it's about the big plays, and it's about limiting big plays when you have a big play quarterback in DeMond Williams Jr. On the Ohio State side of things, this is about taking your chances. I really feel like this is a combination between the Ryan Day of last year and that playoff run with a veteran team, and just let's go out swinging, to a team that he wants to coach situationally. But I think that young quarterback on the road, inject a little confidence in him and give him a chance to show what he can do and take some chances. If they're right, and that Washington, without one of their best corners, has to really weight this thing and slant it towards Jeremiah, there will be plays to be had on the other side. There'll be plays to be had with Carnell Tate, who, by the way, you can make the case, and I don't think you have to make the case, he's been the best receiver for Ohio State this year. Circus grabs everywhere. He's making highlight reel-type catches, and we're the only ones talking about him because all the attention goes to Jeremiah, which makes sense. He's a Heisman candidate, but he is not sneaky good. He's very good. And the tight end's going to be tough for Washington to cover today as well without one of their better linebackers. I just think plays are going to be there to be had.
Especially when you're down a couple guys in the secondary. They're at least down 1. They might be down 2. If you try and take J.J. Smith out of this game, you're right. I mean, okay, you're already down a couple guys perhaps, and you're going to try to take J.J. out, double team him. Okay, then Carnell Tate's going to go off. Perhaps Brandon Ennis will. Then you mentioned, I think this is the best tight end room that I can remember at Ohio State. They don't have a John Frank in the room. They don't have a Ricky Dudley in the room. I'm not saying this is the best tight end I've ever seen. Now, Max Clare could eventually be that, perhaps. Probably not. But 1 through 5, I can't remember a tight end room this good. And they complement each other well. Kazmarek more of the blocker, but he also can catch the ball. Clare can hurt you down the seam. That's a thing. I think Max Clare, who was by far Purdue's best weapon last year. He joked, he got double-teamed all the time at Purdue. He said, I'm never going to get double-teamed at Ohio State unless it's a blown coverage. I think today's the day Max Clare could break out, especially if Washington pulls a Texas from last year in the Cotton Bowl, where they're like, we're going to take Jeremiah Smith out of the game. And what happened? Carnell Tate was doing well, and then Emeka Egbuka was doing well. Ohio State just couldn't put him away until they did. So we'll see what happens. I'm also fascinated, as you mentioned, Anthony. Are we going to see the Ryan Day that comes out? We're going to be aggressive, period, no doubt about it. Pedal to the metal, or are we going to kind of go okay, we think we have the best defense in the country. Let's see how it plays out. Or are they just going to go from the get? Are they going to go for it? If I'm Ohio State, I know there's risk involved, I try to take my shots early and try to take this crowd out of the game because they're going to be extra hyped. Ohio State defending national champions. Ohio State, the #1 team in the country. This would be a watershed moment for Washington, and Ohio State needs to prevent that and taking this crowd out of the game as much as possible, as they were able to do 18 years ago, the last time Ohio State was there in 2007. That's going to be paramount today.
Keys to the game, sponsored by your Central Ohio Toyota dealers. Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. It's not a white out. It's supposed to be a purple out. We'll see. It is a early game. They're calling it the Purple Rain game out there. We'll see. They get into it. and I'm not going to deny him, because from what it's supposed to look like on TV and for the people that haven't been there, it is perhaps the best setting, maybe not the best home field advantage, but the best setting in the country in college football, and that may include the Rose Bowl.
I agree. I had a Washington reporter ask me this, and he's like, I know I'm biased, but like, you've covered a lot of Ohio college football. Do you consider Washington the best venue? And I thought about it, and I mentioned the Rose Bowl. It's very special covering the Rose Bowl, but after you've covered the Rose Bowl once, does it feel a little antiquated? I almost hate to use that word. It doesn't feel antiquated at Washington. I do think it's the best setting in college football, with, the lake right there, Lake Washington, everybody sailgating, including one of my buddies from high school who had to brag about that last night. I'm over here sailgating. I'm like, thank you very much. I really needed to hear that. But no, I think it really is the best venue in college football. And it's a proud, very, very good program. I mean, they won a national championship in the 90s. They were the runner-up a couple years ago. Washington is a real-deal program. I remember the game at Ohio Stadium in 1993, and this is obviously after Ohio State got shellacked in 86. That was such a huge moment for that 1993 Ohio State team. I remember Bobby Hoying, the last play of the game, throwing the ball up just because he knew how big of a win that was in 1993. Washington felt like one of those, just elite programs back then, and Ohio State really wasn't. It's crazy to think about that. Washington, a couple of years removed from a national championship, coming into Ohio Stadium. They had a good little series there. So Ohio State won in 93 in Columbus. Washington won in 94 in Seattle, and then Eddie George and the Buckeyes won in 95 in Columbus. So it's been a pretty good series between Washington and the Buckeyes over the years. They had that really good Rose Bowl. Jake Browning against Dwayne Haskins and Urban Meyer's last game, where it looked like the Buckeyes were going to blow them out, and then Washington came back and made it a close game. So I have a lot of respect for this Washington program. And, yeah, man, I think it is. I think Husky Stadium probably is the best venue in college football.
Fun little matchup. And you almost got the big word alert of the day by our producer Cole with antiquated. You almost did.
Almost.
He didn't sound the alarm.
Oh, okay.
That would have been it on the big word alert. But it was a good one.
Thank you.
It was a good one.
I hate to call the Rose Bowl antiquated. Yeah. It's kind of like, speaking of L.A. football stadium, it's the Coliseum. Going there the first time was super cool. And you go there the second time, you're like, okay, I'm good. I don't need to come back to the Coliseum. But going there once is super cool because of the tradition. It's like the Rose Bowl.
We'll come back and do a live check-in one last time with our guy, the voice of the Buckeyes, Paul Keels. This is the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Fan Tailgate Show. Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places right here on the Fan.
We test marketed naming the show A Guy and His Butlers.
Oh, that is very touching.
But we thought Bishop and Friends had a better ring to it.
Weekday mornings at 9.
The Fan.
Don't miss the Right Rug Flooring Outlet Super Sale. Save up to 80% on truckloads of floors and more, including tiles starting at 19 cents a square foot, and a massive selection of carpet, luxury vinyl, laminate, and hardwood, even installation supplies. Everything you need for your next project. Save up to 80% during the Right Rug Flooring Outlet Super Sale on Poth Road in Whitehall. Hurry, the Outlet Super Sale ends September 30th. Dealers welcome.
Did you know that Byers Airport Subaru is the oldest Subaru retailer in the entire country? And we're conveniently located right by the airport. We take pride in treating every customer like family because that's what's kept us around for generations. Right now, drive home a new 2025 Subaru Outback for 1.9% for up to 72 months. Start your journey today at ColumbusSubaru.com. Byers Auto, driving the next generation of buyers. Subject to credit approval. Financing offer term up to 72 months on 2025 Subaru Outback. Cannot be combined with any other incentive. See dealer for details. Offer ends 9/30/25. It's the Closet Systems Kickoff Sale at Design Solutions by Cooper. They design and manufacture customizable storage built to fit your lifestyle and space. From closets to any space in your home, our systems are made to maximize organization. Simplify the morning rush. Stay organized during back-to-school season and add value to your home with expert craftsmanship. Schedule a virtual design consultation or find a dealer near you at DesignSolutionsByCooper.com. Hurry, this is a limited time offer and your dream closet is just a few clicks away at DesignSolutionsByCooper.com.
All your favorite fan shows are on YouTube, along with those fake YouTube ads like Chew This Gum and It Grows New Teeth. Experience the splendor of Bo sitting in his closet, Timmy Hall's gouty gold chains, and Matty Ice wearing a coat in 90-degree weather. It's all there. Head to YouTube and subscribe today.
The Ohio State University Army ROTC isn't just a curriculum. It's more than just a path to a degree. For more than 150 years, we have been forging tomorrow's leaders. Here you will find your purpose, your mission, your ROTC family. At Ohio State, you're not just joining Army ROTC, You're stepping into a history of excellence that spans generations. Learn more at arotc.osu.edu. Buckeyes lead the way.
Dormar, you're kind of hero. Well, it's halftime, and Dormar is dominating the field as your home's MVP.
Hey, Coach, heating and cooling. We know that's a strong offense, but can the team cover the whole field?
You bet. Dormar's roster is stacked. Plumbing, electrical, duct cleaning.
Anything else, Coach?
Sure. Appliance repair, radon testing, water purification, plus all-star heating and cooling.
Same-day service, free estimates, and friendly pros. Dormar never leaves you on the sidelines.
Dormar, you're kind of hero. And another win for Dormar.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Accurate Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
The sausages are sizzling. This is the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Tailgate Show. Proud to be the flagship home of the Buckeyes. The Fan.
All right, welcome back, Tailgate Show, and we'll dip out to Seattle again, and our man Paul Keels with a final check-in. Paul, what's coming up?
Well, Anthony, as always, we'll hear from both head coaches. Ryan Day from Ohio State, Jed Fish, the head coach of the Washington Huskies. Offensive coordinator Brian Hardline will talk about how the offense has grown through the first 3 games of the year. Tony Castricone, the voice of the Washington Huskies, will give us a scouting report on the UW team. Carson Hinsman, Ohio State starting center, will talk with Tyler Danberg about what they've done in the early portion of the year. We'll hear about one of the state championship football teams in the 1980s that was honored earlier this summer. And as always, we'll have our award-winning, world-famous Pike Place Market, Bethpage Black, jumbo-sized water bottle, Great White Buffalo, bluest skies you've ever seen or in Seattle version of Buckeye Flashback with Hall of Famer Skip Mossick. That's coming up shortly.
Well done. Can't wait, my man. Thank you so much. Have a great
You're
call.
welcome.
That is Paul Keels, the final check-in, sponsored by Byers Imports. Byers Imports, Hamilton Road by the airport. All right, we talked a lot about this game. Ohio State going on the road. They are the number 1 team in the country. This is a chance. You know, I haven't allowed myself to lean too much in yet because it's so early in the season. Big games coming up, but they've already had a big game against Texas and cleared that hurdle. Now the first roadie in a tough stadium, if they clear that. Are you allowing yourself to lean into how likely it is that they repeat this year? Because it just hit me this morning that I felt like if you drew a line to Buckeye Nation and said, all right, pick a side, they repeat or they don't. I feel like I'm on the side of a repeat right now. Wouldn't be overwhelming, but I'm certainly on that side now. And before the season, I don't think I was.
It's 2 arguments for me. If you gave me the field or Ohio State, I would take the field. But if you said, and I had somebody ask me this is when it really hit me. It could have been right after the Ohio University game, after the 3rd game. Somebody asked me, if you had to take one team right now to win the national championship, who would it be? If I only could pick one, it would be Ohio State. But if you gave me the field against Ohio State, I would take the field. But I love this Ohio State team because Julian saying I questioned, I had no doubt he was going to be a very good quarterback at Ohio State. I was questioning when that would happen, Anthony. I thought this defense would be good, but they're losing 8 starters from last year, all of which were NFL draft picks, and you have a new defensive coordinator. They're well ahead of schedule. I think they might have the best defense in the country again this year. So I think Ohio State is the best team in the country. But as we know, man, it's so hard to win a national championship. It seems like Ohio State wins when nobody's expecting them to, right? So I would take the field, but I like Ohio State's chances a lot to repeat. And that'd be crazy. They've never done that in school history. It's so tough to repeat. But, yeah, if you made me pick one team, it'd be the Buckeyes, but I would take the field overall.
So if this was a BCS era and they were coming into the season off a championship with a young quarterback, I probably would not lean into a repeat. The reason I think it's okay to is because regardless on whether they lose this game or they lose a big game down the way, they're going to be in the tournament. Things would have to go drastically bad for somehow Ohio State to be on the bubble going into a 12-team tournament.
Because even 10-2, Ohio State's getting in, just like they did last year.
Yeah, so you wouldn't expect that. And then when you get in, they're the team that has the first right to know what it's like to go through that gauntlet if they're coming from that deep in the tournament. So that's why I lean in now, is that when you have as much talent or more talent than anybody in the country, and you know you can get in the tournament, these losses sometimes only help you grow. Look at Oregon last year. Not only did they have to go undefeated to win it all, they had to try to beat Ohio State twice. So think about what they were up against. Now, I'm not making excuses for them. That was their road. They had to go to, if they were the best team, then they would have won the game. And they didn't. And Ohio State was the best team at the best moments last year. And that's why I do think it's okay. This is an evolution. This is a growth process. You've got a young quarterback. You've got a team that's trying to come up with their own identity. And so I think learning along the way, all these experiences matter. And that's why I feel like it's nice that Ryan Day is playing this as just win. And style points, forget about him. It's not something he's into. He's trying to grow a team, not impress voters. Like, it's completely different. And so I'm kind of excited to kind of lean into what this team can be now because, going in against Texas in that, heavyweight battle right out of the gate, nobody really knew if they were going to come out on the right side of it. And once they did, all of a sudden it kind of opened the world to them again.
And Ohio State being battle-tested, to your point, helps the Buckeyes today. We'll see if it means they're going to win the game, but coming off the national championship run, obviously they lost a lot of players from that, but they also have a lot of players back from that run. But then opening the season against Texas was big, whereas Washington hasn't played anybody. Now, they did play Washington State, who's not a very good team, but it was a close game, and that is an intrastate rivalry, so we know how that can go. So I think Ohio State being battle-tested is huge. I have the Buckeyes winning 31-20, so I have a little bit under the over-under. Now I'm rethinking that because Scotty's like, take the over, and Scotty is just fantastic at sports betting, usually. I have it 31-20, so I have the Buckeyes covering, but I expect a really good game, and hopefully – because what Ryan Day said about, just trying to win the game, obviously, that I love that. But that also makes me think he might come out a little conservative today. Now,
possibly.
I think if you're an Ohio State fan, you hope he does not. You want him to come out and take those shots. And I know there's a little bit of risk involved, but not a tremendous amount, not with this defense. You'd be behind schedule. If you throw a deep ball on 1st and 10 and it's incomplete, it's 2nd and 10. That's not going to kill you. You can't do it a lot. But Ohio State needs to take their shots. Julian Sand is, 9 for 9 on deep shots so far this year. Listen, that's unsustainable, but we know he's the human jugs machine for a reason. Take your shots deep, especially with these wideouts against a banged-up Washington secondary.
This is the Kurgis and Associates Fan Tailgate Show. Remember, they don't get paid unless you get paid here. And also, you got to look at the fact that Julian Sand, as you mentioned, with the percentage right now, is as accurate as anybody in the country. And he should be able to take his shots. I think they could unleash him a little bit. But I do come back with yar who yar, and I think that Ryan Day is going to situational coach this game. He'll take his shots, but it is about winning the game and coming back with a victory. But the combination of Damon Williams and Coleman, I think, is going to really challenge these Ohio State defenders. I really do. And it's about bending but not breaking, not giving up touchdowns, holding them to some field goal shots, and then obviously not making any critical mistakes. But I'm with you. It feels like a 4-quarter game to me. My original thought this week was very similar to yours. On Friday, I picked it 31-21. I do like that 10-point margin. I came back from calling it a 2-touchdown game earlier in the week after I watched a lot of tape on Washington. I started to have a much different respect for their quarterback and what a type of game-breaking plays he can provide, Dave. But, either way, the over-under is the tricky part because you're right. We would both now. I was over earlier in the week with 31-21. I think it was 51.5.
Now you're under.
So if I just hold myself to, hey, I made this bet earlier in the week. But you're right. Could I easily up that to 34-24 and still make it a 10-point game? Of course.
Our points, our score is like almost identical, so it's going to be nowhere near that. You have 31-21. I have 31-20. So I would venture to guess it's going to be nowhere near that. It's interesting our scores are so alike. Listen, I just think Ohio State needs to be aggressive. They're the better team. You got to win the battle of the trenches. Ohio State's defensive line against this Washington offensive line, we haven't talked about that a lot. I think Ohio State can do some damage there. Now, Ohio State's depth at D-tackle concerns me, but Caden McDonald doesn't concern me. He's one of the best defensive tackles in the country, and I really like Ohio State's depth at defensive end. They go at least 5, maybe 6 deep if you count Zion Grady at defensive end. So, and they move those guys inside sometimes, like Bo Atkinson was a great get in the portal. He's not even a starter. Caden Curry's playing really well. I like what the Buckeyes have going on at defensive end. We'll see about Edric Houston. I think it was a disciplinary thing last week, Anthony. He had the two pre-snap penalties 2 weeks ago. He had the 2 pre-snap penalties against Grambling and then against Ohio University 2 weeks ago. He did not start. I think Edric Houston's going to start today and play really well. I think that was just them sending a message to the young sophomore D-tackle.
Accurate quarterback play, no stupid penalties, bend but don't break, take your shots, try to be an aggressive offense when you can, take your shots on second and short, and maybe try to get up early and then force that offense of Washington to take more chances than maybe they don't even want to do already. And then stress that Washington defense, perhaps without their best linebacker and their best corner. That is not a good recipe against this Ohio State offense. I don't see Ryan Day trying to play into Washington's hands by being conservative. I know he wants to set that running game and get that going to help his young quarterback, especially on the road. But I see a lot of taking your shots and no regrets. Not stupid shots, but midfield, let it fly a little bit.
Are you like me? Do you think if for Washington to win this game, it feels like they have to win the turnover battle, even if it's by 1? I think if this is a stalemate, or especially if Ohio State wins the turnover battle, I don't think they could. This is a good Washington team. I shouldn't say there's no way, but I feel like for Washington to win this game, 95%, they need to win the turnover battle because Ohio State is the better team on both sides of the ball.
You would think so. I mean,
you never know.
They're not ranked. They're going against the number 1 team in the country. I know it's early and all that, but they're an 8.5-point dog. You'd think they'd need a turnover or 2 and win that battle. All right, so you're sticking with 31-20?
31-20,
okay,
yeah.
I'll stick with mine, 31-21.
Okay.
Takes a lot of people out here to make this work. Digital Tyler, great job. Scotty Vegas, Mr. Chris, Chanel number 5, Dan the Man Volpe, TLC back in the studio. All our friends at 10 TV, thanks for hanging with us and tolerating us and our look today, but we're happy to have you along for the ride. Stay tuned. Keep it locked here on The Fan for more Buckeye football.
Currently bathing himself in creamy jalapeno dip. And I've officially run out of ways to tease this show. Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays at noon.
The Fan.
Hi, Bob.